Welcome back to Etihad Stadium. Nice to see the roof open for an early Sunday afternoon game as boys come in for the toss. And good luck to Ed Curnow playing his 100th game. And he starts off well by winning the toss and kicking to the left of screen or to the locket end here at Etihad Stadium. Big day for the young man from Torquay. It's taken him a long time, Ed Curnow, to get there, but finally he has hit the century mark. And it's a big day too for Lewis Pearce, as Jason and the team said in our opener. The young man getting an opportunity for the Saints. He's a local boy from Mount Eliza, been on the list for several years now, and we wish him well. Nice also to welcome once again to our telecast. He's been running around the country all season, and he must be amassing an enormous amount of frequent flyer points. But great to see you, Dwayne. Dwayne Russell.
Great to be here as well, Sandy, alongside you. And there he is, Lewis Pearce. Saints weren't exactly sure if they wanted him back in 2012. Pick 74 was called out. Saints had pick 75. Took them 4 minutes to finally call Lewis Pearce's name out. He was getting a little nervous, and they did look at some other options. He was the man in the end. We're underway here at Etihad Stadium. Cruiser in the ruck, knocks it down, early free. And Jack Stephen, an early free for high. And as you'd expect, no one from the Blues getting the ball for him. No Riewoldt to go to, no McCartan to go to, so it's a lot different St.Kilda team than we're used to seeing this year. Armitage inside 50, just overheads, didn't really strike it that well. Sumner caught a little high. Gets the free kick in defence. Good crowd in as well, which is good to see. Plenty of Saints fans around. Saints have brought their home crowd in, and the Blues are just bringing fans back left, right and centre with every passing week. They've been a delight to watch. Simpson, half-back. Wiedering, one of those that's a delight to watch. Gets on the end of this. Arguably the best young player in the comp. Heads wide to the 100-gamer. Ed Curnow, he backtracks. Played his first 50 off the rookie list. Really had to earn his position in this team. He goes to Sumner to the wing, and every Blue trying to get a touch before this game really gets underway.
Sumner called to go, Gilbert on the mark. He just goes short, that's okay. Finding Kerridge. Walker lost it. Sumner may get another opportunity. Gilbert has other ideas. Tui flicks it out. Wide towards Plowman. He's under real pressure. They swamp him. And a stoppage once again on the wing. Looks as though Jack Stevens is going to be running with Gibbs, which will be interesting. Nunes high and wide. A little too wide.
I think from St Kilda's perspective, you'll find Ed Curnow is going to follow Jack Stevens and try and create that matchup.
One thing about Ed Curnow too, he runs hard on the outside, doesn't he? So great matchup here already, Wiedering and Membry. Sam Rowe on Josh Bruce for St Kilda.
Switches on there to Rowe, who goes backwards further field to Simpson, off to Tui. Carlton out of half-back, but gee, he had to work really hard, Tui. Eventually it's Doherty, goes up towards the wing. Well done. And finally Curnow again. They make heavy work of it, going up towards half forward. It's going to be chopped off once more. Gresham brings it back in towards the middle. Now Stephen. Jack's away. In towards goal. Rowe is there, gets a hand to it. And the first score of the day is one behind going to the Saints.
Really good play there from Gresham. Bruce was trying to protect the ball through. Could have used his body a little bit more there. He just got a hand on there, Rowe.
Quick kick to Kerridge. Bumped away, ball in. So the whole game so far being played in the Saints half, even though the Blues have had plenty of the possessions.
Thank you. Thank you.
So Ed Curnow knocked down off the ball.
Yeah, and that was an exchange going on between Jack Stephen and Ed Curnow, and Mav Weller came in to try and give Jack Stephen a cop-out. He just went a little bit too far.
Heads wide does Ed Curnow. Cruises in. That's a good grab in front by Gilbert.
And playing the back line today, Gilbert.
Yeah, they've really had to mix it up. Lost Hugh Goddard from last week as well. He's gone for the year with that Achilles. Wider ball. Curnow in the middle of it. Plowman got half a fist on it. Down to Tui. Flicks it wide. Little flick back in. That didn't work. Gresham opens it up to the middle. Plowman, right spot. He's been dominating the possession count early.
So Doherty's away. Up towards the half-forward line. Towards Lamb. He's got to work really hard. He's claimed. Has one arm pinned. It was a beautiful tackle. Saints not out of the woods yet. Lee drags it down. And Everett will pick himself up. So thrown up for the first time. Carlton in their attacking zone. The question is for how long? So that'll be a free kick going the way of Thomas.
Incorrect disposal there from White.
So Daisy now to a congested forward line. In towards Cruiser and Casbolt, the big man. But the Saints able to rally. Coming wide towards Akers in the back pocket. Tui on the mark. Akers thought about going back and still thinking about it. Eventually down the line. A high ball. Difficult one to grab. Rowe had front spot. He needs support. Gets it in the form of Kerridge, who goes off towards Curnow. Claimed by Bruce, and Minchington taken over the line.
Did pretty well. Just have a look at Jade Gresham's kick here. Look, the idea was great. Really good centering kick, but more 0 to 30. You can see how he's kicked it about 40 metres out. Should have just got that ball to the top of the square, but he tried. He made a mistake playing team football.
Cripps, fourth man up. Ball goes to the back. Tui. Thomas got his arms free. Curnow. Nice release handball to Everett, and they're open. Doherty. Heads along. Lands his target. Got there. Made the ground. Now Casbolt in the square. Cripps lurking about 20 metres out.
Play on. Play on.
Called to go. Took his time, according to the umpire. Hits the top of the square, and Cripps almost got to him. Just knocked down by Gilbert. Ross. Gilbert gets it back again.
No one to kick to further ahead.
Made it tough for Montagna. Now Gilbert's problem. So there's no one there. So they had to run it by hand because there was no kick targets. Ross dumps Curnow. He gets it out. Lamb, Plowman, all the way back to Simpson. And Carlton have options on the open side. Wiedering, if he wants to go, can go. Armfield works really hard for him, but it's still at half back.
So both sides making hard work of it early. Armfield's kick is a poor one. Akers will get there first. Thought about the hand pass to Robertson, but now runs a full circle and spears in towards the middle, finding Weller. He plays on quickly to Ross. Ross goes up towards the half-forward line. Poor kick once again. Carlton will have the numbers. Simpson just tried to swipe it clear. Now it's going to be locked up by Bruce and co. And we've got a stoppage 30 metres out.
Yeah, you're right, Sandy. That was a poor kick. It needed to carry the two players that were running back. The St Kilda forward had actually got goal side. It had to go over the top, and the kick fell short.
Hickey up against Gorringe. Simpson claimed. And another stoppage.
It is 10th versus 13th. Both teams in rebuild mode. Saints have been in rebuild mode longer, but the Blues seem to have done a better job of it this year. In a hurry. Carlton's won the last 4 between these two teams, including a smashing of the Saints last year. That was in New Zealand, though. Strange conditions greeted them over there. Doherty bangs it out, but it's coming back. Savage. Short pass. Just missed Stephen. Put the hand out. Good hard attack, Curnow, who was bumped and met hard. He looks a little hurt. Nunes fires it back. Ross, short pass. Missed Hickey completely and found Doherty, who gives to Thomas. And the Blues continue to be quite happy to live in their back half. Wright goes wide. Casbolt comes up from full forward to take the mark at half back.
He has a look downfield. He can go long towards Everett or short in towards the middle. But once again, the disposal went straight to Armitage, gave it to Montagna. Now it's belted over the boundary line in an untidy start.
Well, it is an untidy start. There's both teams just turning the ball over continually. Have a look at this hit here with Curnow and Mav Weller. Ooh, hard at the ball. Curnow sucking the big one still after that hit from Weller.
Hickey once again, 3 up, hurried Montagna. Stab in towards the pocket region, again goes over the line.
Just have a look at their entries so far, boys. They've had 8 inside 50 St Kilda and yet to mark the ball in there. That final kick is really cruelling them at the moment.
David King with special comments from the boundary. Hickey again up against Gorringe. Armitage, the hand pass okay. The ball was touched by Montagna. Another heavy hit. Sees it hit back towards the middle of the ground. Savage can take it now from Geary. And he goes long, back in towards inside 50 once again. A big pack of players waiting down. An opportunity for Simpson, but the kick was partly smothered. Armfield's got to beat a couple here. He's ripped to the ground and loses the footy. Dunstan's on all fours. Ball spills free to Gilbert, but he's not free. Once again, it's Nunes close to the boundary line. He gets it wide, keeps it in. That was Montagna. Off to Dunstan. Dunstan's outside 50 and he's caught. Going to be pinged for a throw. And the Blues, once again, will get out of trouble for the moment.
Plenty of heat on. Lukey Dunstan just needed to throw that on the boot, get it going forward. Just looked to do too much in traffic.
The game's gone up a gear in the last couple of minutes. Thomas out wide to see if the Blues finally get it forward rather than mixing possessions in defence. Kerridge runs. And now he carries it to the wing. Looks up, wants a handball target. Gorringe, who's there for the 1-2, faked it nicely. And now pumps it in Casboll's direction, won't get to him. And Delaney takes the pick-off mark. Delaney, one of those back into the lineup for the Saints this week. They have made a few changes, most of them forced. Webster pumps it wide and just through the outstretched hands of Nunes, and will get a ball in. But the Carlton ruck combination at least have a half-forward stoppage to work on rather than a half-back stoppage. Cruiser. And up against him, Pearce in his first game. A tough task, and they get the clearance at least. High, Weller. Dump towards Gibbs, got it out. Gee, he was hit hard. Cripps hit hard. Byrne, he had a piece of it and they had a piece of him. Wiedering, and again, Carlton content to go back rather than forward to Doherty.
And he goes even further back to Rowe. So they swing it out wide to the outer side, and Plowman. Plowman can go short, and he does, to Kerridge, who's on centre wing. Just trying to pick his way through a minefield up towards Gibbs. Needs assistance now. He's got a problem, loses it to Dunstan. Dunstan's hand pass is okay. Gilbert's on the right side for a left footer, but he goes backwards and affects the hand pass. He may still get a kick. Eventually it's shot out wide from Webster towards centre wing, and Josh Bruce is a long way from home, but he turns around and he goes bang towards Akers and co. Akers got a hand hook, but that was all. Wide to Wiedering, tucked close to the boundary line, but again they should get out of trouble. No, he can't pick it up, and he's taken it over the line, and all clear, one behind. That was Curnow in his 100th.
Well, the Saints are tackling well. It was non-existent last week. 13 tackles to 5 St Kilda's favour, but their ball use at the moment going 55% by foot, the Saints.
Wiedering from defence, handball Doherty. Get out wide. Right. Again, using it in defence before they think about going forward. Gibbs comes down to lend a hand. Heads toward the wing. White out there, just tipped by Robertson. And the ball knocked out of play. So halfway through this opening quarter, still goalless. Both teams. St Kilda the only team to score.
Well, they've been in 10 times, Dwayne, St Kilda, for 2 behinds. And Carlton have only been in 3 times. So St Kilda missing a great opportunity to get some scoreboard pressure at the moment.
Lewis Pearce, who is up against Cruiser, drafted when he was 18, but he's been on the list that long now. He's actually playing his first game ineligible for the NAB Rising Star. He's too old. Flicks it down. Minchington bursts through traffic. Sidestep delightful. Kick not quite as good. And it's cut off by Wiedering at half-back, but he does that so well. We're going to be saying that a lot of times in the next 10 years.
Comes wide to Plowman. Lockie Plowman in the back pocket. Looks towards Everett. With him is Nunes, who had front spot, and pushes over the line.
Just having a look at the method, Jace, as we see that little shimmy there through the pack, quite impressive, that little step late. The method from Carlton, just maintaining possession, chipping the ball around, or we see 25 marks to 8, denying the Saints their pressure game.
Well, I think it's the pressure game that's actually forcing them into doing that, though, because we're seeing a lot of short, lateral and backward kicks because they're always under pressure when they do get the ball, the Blues.
Here's Walker with a left foot, tumbling it up towards the half-forward line. Gorringe has got to do it on his own, and he can't. Once again, the Saints are able to bring it back in towards Mitchington. He goes into Dunstan. Dunstan off to Nunes. Little drop punt pass is going to be okay. Now it's had Stevens running past, but Gresham ignores him. Now he goes short, but to whom? We'll perhaps never know. Rowe came out and applied a tackle. Pearce is there as well, the big man.
Well, St Kilda are dominating the inside 50s, but again, Gresham, the decision to go there was great, but just the execution at the moment going forward for St Kilda is really hurting. 12 inside 50s now for only 2 behinds.
Yeah, you've got to get a return on the scoreboard, Spud. That's just that's dominating.
Yeah, they're just
territory.
dominating.
Everett going out wide towards White, who keeps it in play. An opportunity now to go even further after the hand pass from Kerridge. It was meant for Wright. They're still not out of the woods, and eventually flicked towards Mitchington. And it's continuing to be an untidy first quarter, both in disposal and talent displayed. Here's Plowman. Onto the left boot he goes. Everett. A little bit of time, so he spears it towards centre wing and Gorringe. Gorringe unsure what to do, so he just flicks it to Tui, who goes longer. That's better. They're inside 50. What can they do? It's hammered down. Who's waiting down? Gilbert's there, Minchington's there. It's the lad who gives it to Pearce. In trouble. Well, he shouldn't have, because it could cost them the first goal. Gibbs popped it over the top to Walker. It's taken them a while, but finally they're on the ball.
It was a long time coming, Sandy, and Mitchington's had a lot of the ball, but he, under pressure, went backwards to the first game in Lewis Pearce, and he was surprised to get the handball out the back. You see Lewis Pearce here. Mitchington gets the ball. Look, he did call for it. If you call for it, you've got to do something with it. But as soon as he got it, he was under enormous pressure. The ball spilled over, and that really does hurt St Kilda because they've been in 13 times. They haven't taken a mark inside their forward 50, St Kilda. Carlton have been in 4 times and then get the major. So that is really deflating for the hard work St Kilda's done. But you'd have to say they're falling on their own sword at the moment because their inability to hit a target inside their forward 50.
So hallelujah, we've got a goal. Andrew Walker game 198 for him as his 200th in a few weeks against Collingwood. Won't that be a contest? Cripps, Cruiser, well worked, thumps it in the Walker direction. Got the lead, got a hand on it. And that was all. Chip kick, okay. Wanted it back, we didn't get it back from Nunes Robertson. Wide, Savage. Just inside the boundary. Plenty of inside 50s, plenty of the Sharon, yet still goalless the Saints. Over the head of Pearce, could have gone for him. That's a good pluck by Hickey, and he plays on quickly. Top of the square, fist away by Docklands, not illegal. Gresham, Stephen, they got on each other's way. Simpson barrels it out. Casbolt at half back for his legs. It is untidy. Minchington to mob it all up.
Had a lot of the ball.
Hits the top of the square. Ball hits the deck. Gresham!
Yes!
Hallelujah, the Saints are on the board with their first goal, and they hit the lead.
Well, it took the youngest player on the list, Wayne, in Gresham, and the Alan Richardson will be relieved. I thought that it would have been a free kick for the inside 50, but have a look at Gresham here. He's the player that Jace, he's a youngster, but he makes really good decisions with the ball, and he's a really good finisher. Minchington's had a lot of the ball. He's turned it over. But have a look at Gresham's spot for a front and square. Absolutely perfect, and then had the poise to finish it off.
17 and a half minutes it has taken young Jade Gresham to get the Saints' first goal.
Yeah, we just saw that previous inside 50. Dunstan definitely had the arms chopped on that occasion. The umpire said play on.
And Levi Casbolt was just having a look at what was around him before he actually took possession of the ball. Need to focus on the pill first.
Pearce beaten by Cruiser, just tries to smack it as far as he can, but it's Armitage and Montagna who combine for the Saints. Pearce has got a run now. This will test him out. The big man does well, gives a little ground, gets the hand pass away. Now they look up towards the half-forward line. Disposal's got to be good, and it is okay. Up towards the 50. At the back is Weller. He's claimed. Ball spills free. Doherty and Geary racing towards the line. It's Geary who keeps it in play, just trying to firm it round. And he asks the question, all to no avail. Walker over the top.
Doherty's had 12 disposals already. I think you've just about earmarked him as an all-Australian halfback flanker that was picked now.
Oh, he's a certainty, I think, at the mid-stage of the year. But he's had a fantastic start again today. 12 disposals, as you say. 225 metres gained, so he's off to a fast start. I think his highest for the year is just a tick over 450, so it's a big start for him.
Good start by Lewis Pearce. Knocked that out. Now he'll contest with Cruiser in the throw-in. Rowe there, third man up. Didn't take it in the end. Hickey in trouble. Had it and then lost it. Armitage gives a little ground. Montagna in towards Akers and co. Ricochets away over the head of Pearce. Had a chance, but now Carlton have the numbers. And they should come away through Kerridge. Kerridge's hand pass is okay. Comes back again from Cripps. Now Cripps looks up towards Walker. Takes a diving mark. Didn't hold it long enough. It spills free over the line. We've got to throw in on centre wing.
Yeah, good courage there from Doherty and Weller. Really good physical contest.
Pearce from behind on Cruiser, got to the front. Cripps, the handball out just in time. Right, Curnow, good use. Tui, sidestep, delightful. Sumner in space. Ugly kick for Casbolt to hunt down. Delaney's right with him. Webster's right with him. Gilbert's there with them. Gathers, gives Webster. Saints fans roar, but the kick horrendous. It might work. Membry, Savage, flick back again. Inside to Geary. They've got the spare man. Loops at Gresham, missed him.
Missed handball.
Kerridge, right. Doherty, White. Webster corralled him, back to Simpson. Inside to Lamb, and he missed that target. Geary cuts it off. He says, hang on, boys. Let's not turn it over again. Let's set it up with a bit of poise.
We've seen a few turnovers in this first quarter already, haven't we?
Well,
that was...
Didn't turn it over. It just put it out of bounds.
Kingy, Sam Gilbert looks like someone that we were talking about pre-game that's been able to intercept Carlton's forward entries.
That's the one component missing for the Saints in their rebuild phase. We've seen it come straight away at Carlton. Gilbert looks like being that player just between the arcs in the mid-zone, Danny, which give you the pure intercepts, don't they? The scoring chains.
Yeah.
Here's Montagna up towards the half-forward line. Rowe left his man Pearce and came charging out and took the mark.
Yeah, Pearce has got to be better than that. As a tall forward, you have to present and you have to be in front. Can't afford to take second position, even though you're a ruckman.
Rowe back towards Cruiser, who had a front spot. Hickey was there, claimed with one arm and managed to get a kick and put it straight out of bounds on the full. It only travelled about 4 or 5 metres.
Well, again, that's the thing that Alan Richardson will have to try and get some composure with their ball use. 55% by foot, St.Kilda.
A little bit happening off the ball. Armitage and Sumner, is it?
Yep.
Yeah.
And Curnow's going to kick straight over the top of them. And he did, up towards the 50 for Carlton. And it's a high tackle, going to go the way of Matthew Wright. So he'll put the Blues deep into attack. White's down there, Casbolt is down there. He pops it up to the top of the square and taking a good strong mark for the Saints' lead.
Yeah, that's one of his strengths, Tommy Lee, to get a strong starting point, to come off his man for an intercept mark. And we know he can use the ball well, Tom Lee.
One of a number of changes that the Saints were forced to make this week.
Strange kick.
Well, that was a bad decision.
You wrap him up.
It's going to be 50. It's going to be 50 metres here.
50 if you get up now.
It's a
If you
late
get up, we're
contact.
going 50. If you get up, we're going 50. Let go. Yeah, we're going 50. We're going 50.
Yeah, it was an ordinary decision from Lee to go there. Bruce was late.
He just threw the arm out. Look,
Nothing in it.
there wasn't much in it, but it was just silly.
Silly.
And that's something that Alan Richardson doesn't need to see. A possession in the middle of the ground all of a sudden being turned into a gimme shot for goal.
It was the kick from Lee, though, wasn't it? We talked about he's got a good disposal. It was just a bad decision to go in there to a 2-on-1.
And goals haven't exactly been easy to come by in this quarter, so this 50 is indeed a prize. Simpson directly in front will be kicking from 25 metres. Just the one goal so far this season. Now you can make that two.
Yes, he's been a very good player. Simpson played his 250th game a few weeks ago. He's already had 10 disposals. He's one player that St Kilda can't afford to get off the chain. This was just undisciplined from Bruce. There was nothing in it. If you're going to make a contest, make him earn it. Just a flailing of the arms there. He should have used his body there, Bruce. He would have got away with it because the arms came out. It was always going to be 50.
Fantastic crowding.
Yeah,
these two Melbourne-based teams.
Yeah, they'll be over, what, 40,000 here today?
Yeah, absolutely. The top deck almost full, which is a delight to see. Two lower teams on the ladder, although Carlton could be just percentage outside the top 8 tonight. They could not possibly win this by the monstrous margin required to get themselves in there. Sumner bangs it forward. Casbolt stalks it, gets it. And now it's all about the foot skills.
Yeah,
you know,
you
see
the trip. Sam Kerridge straight over there saying, oh, settle down. This is in your range.
That's the beauty of centre clearance, isn't it? You'll always get a one-on-one inside your forward 50. And it's centre clearance from Carlton.
See what the routine is here. A couple of deep breaths, a look up, alignment. You walk steps, gain some momentum. Sends it on its way.
Good hit.
Crowd love it. And he does too.
Well, he liked that as soon as it came off his boot. And I think we heard the crowd reaction pretty early too. That just was a bomb. From outside 50, straight as an arrow. There's the long kick coming in, and he found a hole of space where Casbolt basically took an uncontested chest mark. Good movement. And importantly for his confidence, that's what you want to see Levi Casbolt do if you're a Carlton supporter. You just want to see that first shot for goal come off the boot well.
His 9th goal for the season. He was a 50-50 chance with that kick, having booted 8 goals, 8 from set shots. All of a sudden, a couple of quick ones to the Blues, and they skip away to a 10-point break. Hickey flicks it wide to Armitage. The Saints now go in towards attack. That's better.
Well, it's a centre clearance. Centre clearance, you get an opportunity for your forwards to be one-on-one. And Membry needs a big game today. No Riewoldt, obviously. Paddy McCartan now with concussion. And again, we see the benefit of centre clearance from both teams. Carlton win the previous one. Casbolt shot at goal, and now Membry.
He's been pretty good, though, Spud. He's kicked 15 goals for the season.
He's been really consistent, Sandy, after having a pretty lengthy spell in the VFL.
Making use of a relatively long run-up. Kicking from 46 metres.
Beautiful kick.
And he answers in the best possible fashion. Membry gets his first, and the Saints have their second.
No, I agree with you, Sandy. That's all you want from a medium-sized forward. He's not your power forward. He's not your half-forward flanker. He's in between. And have a look at this centre clearance here. It's a beautiful tap from Hickey to Armitage, and on the preferred left, and nothing Wiedering could do with that kick. Just far too good. And that's what you want from your half-forwards, just to be consistent. His tackling's been good. He's a really tough matchup because he can get on his bike, and that's one way to impact Wiedering's intercept marks, is to hit his direct opponent in Membry.
Hickey gets another chance here against Gorringe.
It was a beautiful tap, Dwayne, wasn't it, the previous one?
He's the one dominating the taps at the moment. 14-5 taps in favour of St Kilda, and he's got 8 of them himself, Hickey.
So with Cruiser not rucking, he wins it again easily. Down to Stephen. Pumps it inside 50, and this is working to perfection. Akers. So they're going to have to get Cruiser back into the ruck pretty quick.
They're into Hickey here at the moment, but they need to. Gorringe needs to impact where it matters most, and that's at the centre bounce. And you read it like a book, Jace. That was just copybook to Jack Stephen, and there's nothing any defender in the competition could do that when you got shoulders out with Stephen. Have a look at the kick. Akers just playing out the back. Just a beautiful kick. Nothing Kieran Byrne can do.
For the lead back, drills it.
Well, the good thing is we might have seen a lot of turnovers and some scrappy football early on in the game. We're seeing good conversion in front of goals. The set shots very effective. 3 straight for Carlton. Now the last couple of set shots very, very good from the Saints. That tap out into the path of Jack Stephen was outstanding from Hickey. You couldn't have asked for anything more as a midfielder.
Well, the last 2 hit-outs to advantage, they are so important. As I said, he's had the 9 hit-outs, but the 4 hit-outs to advantage, especially the last 2, have ended in goals for St Kilda.
Well, let's see what he can do this time.
Good to see Akers get on the board nice and early. NAB Rising Star about 6 weeks ago for St Kilda.
Again, up against Gorringe. Pushes it wide. Gorringe actually got a hand to that and flicked it to Cripps. He goes short to Casbolt, who marks 75 out.
Yeah, that was a Gorringe factor, Sandy. He nullified the hit out from Hickey on that occasion.
Gives it to Gibbs. Bryce Gibbs flicks it up in towards the forward line. Going to see it chopped off by Savage. Speaking of the Saints, we'll be chatting with their injured skipper, Nick Riewoldt, at quarter time. As Montagna
goes
in towards the middle. Now Delaney gets the hand pass away. They can run Jack Stephen, and he does. Beautiful. In towards the pocket once again, and suddenly Membry finds himself with another shot at goal.
From coast to coast, that was really good play for St.Kilda. Delaney normally playing full back. He was the one that got out of the chain in the zone. And rightly so, give it to the running Stephen, who's just having a bit of a purple patch at the end of this first quarter. Curnow did a really good job on Jack Stephen for the first 20 minutes, but he's just got off the chain a little bit.
Big kick here for Tim Membry. Siren has sounded. Saints lead by 2 points at the moment. He can stretch this to 8. Looks very good off the boot, and the result is excellent. And the Saints...
It was a double cobra there for Membry, Sandy.
It was. Have opened up an 8-point lead. St Kilda, 4 goals to 26. Carlton are 3 straight. An interesting first term. It's the Saints by 8 points here at Etihad. Can you stay with us for a few minutes?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, into the second quarter we go. Saints by 8 points. And Hickey, who did well in the first quarter, Stephen could have got a free kick, not to be. Goes down towards Casbolt. Couldn't pick it up initially. Now there's a problem as it goes wide from Armfield, and the mark is taken there by Thomas. Daisy Thomas from 70 metres up towards half forward. That's a good, strong clunk. And he's a tough man to beat in that sort of situation, and he'll go back Casbolt and have a shot 25 out directly in front.
That's why he's one of the best contested marks in the competition. Gilbert was the third man in, just botted him out easily, and just a spoil from Delaney. Wasn't aggressive enough on that occasion, but really good grab from Casbolt. Just a great contested mark.
Good early use of the body, wasn't it, just to put his opponent off, and he's had to work hard on this route. The goal kicking, it gets to the best of the forwards, doesn't it?
Didn't get to you too much, mate.
In he comes, Casbolt, and has no problems with that one. That's his second.
It's interesting when we talk about goal kicking, and Levi Casbolt's someone that everyone seems to chat about a lot because we know he's had problems. How much time on a weekly basis would you spend kicking for goal?
Yeah, the bulk of your work really happens, I think, in the pre-season. Now it's become so much about recovery during the week that you need to find other avenues. So, as an example, we have a basketball court down at the football club, and the players get in there with soft footies when you can't always get out on the track and practice it in real circumstances. So you need to find different ways to be able to work on your craft throughout the week, and clearly Levi's gone about doing that. And I clearly had a few issues at the start of the year, but performing much better now.
Back to a 2-point ball game. Hickey and Cruiser, one by the former. Hickey. He is, isn't he? Can they get it out of the middle? We'll have another stoppage.
Yeah, it looks like Kate Simpson just on the left of screen there walking out, but he's the extra for Carlton at the moment. So something St Kilda need to be aware of, because if he's allowed to play that quarterback position, he used the ball extremely well.
Saints go forward once again. Here's an opportunity for Minchington to get it away. He might have to go again. He's lost it to Curnow. Curnow flicks it wide to accommodate Simpson, who went even wide of it. Luck's a fortune. It bounces back with him up towards the middle of the ground. Now they're away. Thomas through the centre. Hand pass is okay to Armfield, but he juggled it and he dropped the juggle, and now he's got a problem. And with that in mind, Nick Riewoldt, when can St Kilda fans look forward to seeing you back?
We've got the bye next week, so potentially hopefully the week after that. So that'll be a 21-day break, and I'll be right to go.
Look forward to seeing you back, Nick. Thanks for joining us, and all the very best for the remainder of the season.
Thank you. Go Saints.
Nick Riewoldt, watching his side at the moment, lead by 2 points. Pushed wide to the outer side. Geary flicks it with the right boot up along the wing. That's going to be okay. And the Saints just slowly surging forward. In that case, they do a 360 back to Geary. It came from Akers. Now they come laterally wide. That's okay to Roberton.
Good run here from Hickey.
Yeah, he's worked hard, hasn't he, Hickey? They need to honour him with a kick here.
Roberton pops it over the top, and they're going to.
Yeah, and it's okay to run hard, but you need to be rewarded, as you talked about, Jace.
Hickey gives it to Savage, who gives it to Bruce.
Looks like their ball use is just on song at the moment, the Saints.
Membry is the target, and he finds him. Inside 50, Tim Membry. 45-degree angle.
And that's a shot for goal that's come as a result of that hard running from Hickey.
Yep.
We know the Saints got trapped down back. They didn't panic. Jack Stephen just said, all right, let's change direction, try the other side. And Hickey sprinted about 80 metres. He dragged Cruiser, who couldn't go with him at that particular point in time, got used, and now they've got an opportunity to kick the goal.
Membry for his second. And to once again push the Saints' lead out to 8 points. Kicking from right on 50. Good-looking kick starting at left, coming back, and he's got the goal. He's got 3. He has got 3.
Yeah, well done, Sandy. That's what you want from a forward. We see a lot of games forwards can dominate, but he's taken the 3 marks inside forward 50, Tim Membry, and for 3 goals. And as you talk about, Jace, have a look at the run here from Hickey. Cruiser can't keep up, and Blake Acres rightly hit him up, and you see Bruce hold his lead. He comes up, so really good connection. And Tim Membry just put along a screen here, coming out, and a really good kick there. But more importantly, he just finished the deal. So 3 straight is a great return for any half forward. He could kick a bag. I think he kicked 5 or 6 from memory in his first game back.
Just caught Jacob Wiedering in no man's land, didn't it? Whether to go and assist on the Bruce lead up, and then that allowed Membry to duck back into the attacking 50.
Cruz a big palm on it. Cripps half held. Curnow settled up Ross. Armitage, little fumble, second fumble. Got it out, Ross. And now the run, Webster. Doherty gets back in the hole. Got there to take the mark.
Well, it was just a nothing kick, Jace, wasn't it, at the end from Webster? Just had to have a bit more poise.
Berridge. Got a couple of options inside, didn't like them, the way the Saints were zoning around those options. Almost trying to suck him in to try and take one. So he thumps it down the line. Best work. Sumner. Lamb inside 50. Oh, just knocked away from White. Good enough to pounce on it. Savage with a savage tackle wraps him up.
Well, that's been the big improvement, as you talked about, Jace. The Saints tackling pressure. 45 for the game last week against Adelaide.
Lucky not to give away a free kick, Savage.
Very lucky there.
Hickey kicks it away in a dangerous area. Simpson waited an eternity for it to come down.
Which wouldn't be a great feeling, I reckon, when you're standing under a high ball like that. And you know they're coming.
It was worth when the Saints had Lockett.
It was good courage, though. Terrific effort from Simpson.
Armitage about to send them back inside 50, but every Saints player ahead of him. Heads long. Big pass from 4 deep. Just couldn't bring it down, and the umpire's going to have to sort this out.
It's only early, but Cade Simpson looks like he's the extra for the Blues, and he's had an impact on both forward entries for St Kilda all moment. Do you man him up or just try and have a half-forward go to him?
I think you've got to man him up. He's too dangerous, isn't he? He's had almost an All-Australian type half-back season as well. So he's a worry for the Saints coaches box, I think.
Here's Gibbs taking it from Doherty.
Gee, that's a good kick.
It's a good kick and it's a good mark.
It's just a magnificent kick. It just allowed Walker to hold. He knew he had Montagna for body strength. It was just a well-weighted kick. Just a magnificent kick there.
Walker has one. And nearing a major milestone. This is game number 198 for Andrew Walker. He can join the elite 200 club in a couple of weeks, all being well. And just the one behind, adding to his earlier goal. Bright sunshine here in Melbourne and the roof open.
A beautiful winter's day, isn't it?
An unusual sight on a Sunday afternoon, having that roof open.
We'll just see the player kicking out, Robinson, I think. Had to shield his eyes from the sun.
Yeah. Goes to the outer side. Big pack of players. Plowman was up and now he's got possession. He shrugs the tackle. He gets rid of the hand pass and they should be able to get out of trouble towards right. Gets the hand pass even further afield towards Tui. He's set upon. Goes to ground. Well has got him.
Just good pressure. Just drove them back about 30 metres through incessant pressure, forcing one average hand pass after another. Didn't quite hit the target.
Hickey again with Gorringe. Won by the former. And look at the pace of Stephen. Jackie's away. inside 50, and it's going to be downfield.
Yeah, St.Kilda free.
Well, these ones just kill you. We saw Josh Bruce give one away in the first term that resulted in the Kate Simpson goal, and now we get an opportunity here where the ball's been kicked from basically the wing and you turn it into a certain scoring opportunity. And this bloke, he's kicked 3 straight. The first one was the easiest one, which was a 45-degree angle, but his last 2, the one on the quarter-time siren and the one that we saw in the second term, was sensational set shots.
Yeah, it was just done from Kerridge, wasn't it? There was just no need for it. Jack Stephen had already disposed of the ball.
So Membry for 4. And he's certainly helping to fill the void left by the absence of key players, McCartan and Riewoldt. That drop punt was pretty good off the boot, but just fading away and going through for 1 behind.
They are coming off the boot very nicely for Tim Membry. Even though he's missed that, that's a very respectable shot.
Here he is again. Well, he's on fire that much that Carlton will kick the ball to him now.
A bit too far out this time.
So he'll put it back towards from whence it came. Weller will be a fly. He had front spot, could have almost been interfered with. Now he goes again, and it's taken to the line. We've got a throw in right forward pocket.
He just let Jack Stephen one, and really good fly there from Weller. No doubt Carlton have targeted Jack Stephen. We saw it a couple of weeks ago. Yep. Carlton targeted Motlop for Geelong. So there's no doubt Brendan Bolton looks at the opposition best on ballers or impact players and makes sure it's a team defence on the opposition better player.
Hammered out by Lamb, but it'll probably be coming back. It will be. It's on the full.
Sam
Gilbert's ball.
Started really well, Sam Gilbert. Filling the void of Sam Fisher and Dempster, who are out with injury, and Hugh Goddard, as you talked about, playing.
So Bruce and Membry forward. It's long. Pearce is there as well. Got up, the big man, in his first game, but Gorringe thumped it towards the boundary, and it's almost as if Membry is enjoying it without Riewoldt and McCartan there. He's the man. Pearce, Gorringe again. It's the carpet. Fire hand back, Armitage.
He's dragged it in.
Webster got it from Dunstan, floats it, top of the square. Bruce there, Membry there, flies. Montagna, front and square, straight out of the copybook. Vintage Joey.
Beautifully called, Dwayne. It was a great courage from our forwards. I think it was Membry for the forwards there, Membry and Bruce. But Joe Montagna, just in the right spot at the right time. So anyone watching at home, just have a look at the front and square and the work that he does early, but more particularly late. He gets stationary at the contest. See that? He's watching the hands off the ball, straight into his lap and a snap. That is copybook front and square play from Joe Montagna.
We've got a really good test for Jacob Wiedering today. This is a young man we've spoken so much about, the impact he's had, how good he's going to be, whether he's going to win the NAB Rising Star. But he's playing on Tim Membry, who keeps losing it. And it was Membry who flew back with the flight of the ball then that created the spill to Montagna. So it'll be great to see how he fights back against someone like Membry.
Jace, it's a very good point. It's okay to be a good intercept mark, but when your direct opponent's dominating, you then have to defend.
Cruiser gets it out of the middle. Gives it target, but it's Ross who gets it out of trouble initially for the Saints. Now it's Gresham who bounces his way up towards half forward. Kick is a poor one, however. He undoes some really good work. And the mark is taken for Carlton by Plowman.
Yeah, just rushed himself with that bounce, I would have thought. When you bounce the ball, you've really got to hit a target. So it means you've got time and space and your shoulders are out. So you'll learn from that.
So back towards Cruiser and co. He had front spot at the pack. Pearce was there with him. It's flicked out. A chance now for the Saints once again as it comes towards half forward. Mitchington picks it up and gives it away quickly. That's another poor kick that lands on the chest of Sumner. Another player back in this week for Carlton. He goes to Kerridge. Kerridge looks towards centre wing. And use of the body by White. Gilbert will see it over the line. Simpson on his hammer and another throw in.
A couple of ordinary kicks from Blake Acres. 2 in a row, one on the left, one on the right. But they are playing well, St Kilda, and they are on top in this match. If we had a shot at Brendan Bolton, I reckon he'd be pretty worried right about now.
From the throw in, Cripps.
Yeah, well, he's taken the ball.
Yeah, and threw it.
And St Kilda are aware of that. One thing Cripps does really well is third man up, and you can see Dunstan there was all over that. So
looked like he got a hand pass away.
Yeah, I think he did, but The umpire saying it was incorrect disposal.
Saints at the moment with the biggest lead in this game so far. Dunstan to take it. And away he goes to Stephen, who kicks up towards the half-forward line. A big pack of players. Doherty got up a mile without touching the footy. And again, it's taken over the line.
A little bit of collision there between Curnow and Montagna. Of course, they've got form as well. It was Curnow who's still got strapping on that shoulder. He injured against the Saints, and Montagna that bumped that shoulder as Curnow was trying to get off the ground a few years ago.
That's dropping the ball.
AFL didn't enjoy it. Play on. Dunstan, short, pocket. Hickey having a good afternoon at the office.
So they're dominating clearances at the moment, St Kilda. And they've already got 2 goals from clearances at the start of this second quarter. And that's a real concern, as you said, Jace, for the on-ballers of Gibbs. Obviously Murphy out, but they're dominating the clearances.
What's his goal kicking like, Spuds?
He's normally pretty good, Jace. I want to be good from here, because normally it's a slider from left to right.
One this year. It's left to right. That's why they pay you the big bucks, Spud. And that's why they pay Hickey the big bucks.
You couldn't have given me a worse angle to ask me, was he a good kick, Jace? But that is an extremely hard pocket with a left to right, and he just had the perfect arc. It'd have to be with his left to right kick, with his left footer, but he's been the dominant player on the ground for mine with his hits to advantage, and now going forward kicking a goal. And it's St Kilda's work around the clearances. That's 3 goals from clearances in this second quarter now, so a real concern for Brendan Bolton in their midfield. And more importantly, St Kilda, since the 20-minute mark of the first quarter, are really making the most of their inside 50s.
Round 12 turning out to be quite a contrasting one. Now let's see what happens in the middle this time. It's won by Cruiser. He gives it to Gibbs, who hasn't had a major influence on this game to date. Walker could have been interfered with, but Savage plays on, and the Saints should get out of trouble. Back towards the half-back line. The race is on here. The bounce was a bad one for St Kilda's Nathan Wright. He goes towards Geary.
Good speed.
Wright again. Wright recovers really well. Kicks up towards Hickey. Gets a kind bounce. Goes onto the left boot. Flicks it into the open space. Pearce, if he can pick it up, he can kick a goal. Oh, he does! Saints are on fire. Pearce gets his first. Welcome to the big time.
That is ruckman to ruckman. I don't know that you would see that happen too often. And neither of them were marks. He had to pick up the bouncing ball, Tom Hickey. He swung onto the left. There wasn't much on. He kicked to the top of the square, and it was Lewis Pearce who was just coming in that then had to read the bounce of the ball. And you were just hoping it would sit up for him. He finally gets the bounce, but that is very good at throwing the ball onto the boot very quickly. His first game, Spud, a big moment for him.
Yeah, well, St Kilda do it well, as all clubs. The jumping presentation there, and to see his parents inside of the room. You saw the look on Alan Richardson after he kicked the goal. He said, "That's my boy out there in the first game," and that's a great thing for a coach to give someone their first game, but have an impact also is the most important thing.
Could have given him one earlier. It's his 4th year on the list. He's had to wait a long time for his first game and his first goal. But he's looking the goods. Blues under pressure. Simpson inside 50. Geary knocks it to ground. Gets his own crumb. Curnow there to wait for the crumb to come out. Holds it in.
So at the moment, everything's going right for St Kilda. I mean, you get Hickey kicking one from the boundary, then you get the other ruck on the first game and kicking a terrific goal for them. It's going to take an effort now for Carlton to turn things around.
Thomas flicks it out. Simpson to try and generate something. Almost a throw. It is a throw. They've won 6 of their past 7 games, the Blues. They've come into this with hot form.
Yep.
Sydney, the only other team that's won 6 of their past 7. That's how hot their form is. But they're under enormous pressure. Nunes pumps it inside 50 and getting back, Wiedering. That was a solid recovery after his man's kicked 3 on him. Told to go. Heads wide. Gorringe just inside the boundary, and Carlton can just settle things down a little.
Yeah, the clearances this quarter, 10 for St Kilda, 4 for Carlton. That's where it's starting.
Gorringe. Well, Cruiser was taken out of it.
Big shove from Gilbert.
Yeah, just the timing of it, wasn't it? It was just far too early.
Hip and shoulder in the middle of the back just to push him under the footy.
So Cruiser, the recipient. What about coming into the middle? Now just gets a real up and under, up towards the 50. Gilbert effects the spoil and pushes to the line. The Saints with a very handy 26-point lead, with 18.5 minutes gone in this second term. Hickey and Cruiser again. Armitage hasn't had a major influence on this game to date. Opportunity now for Kerridge. They send it forward in towards the pocket. Savage again. Penetrating hand pass is okay. Now they're out of trouble. Up towards the middle of the ground. Mitchington was there, but a good strong mark taken by Sam Rowe.
Yeah, we just had the extra there, Carlton. The deepest forward, I think, was Memory on that occasion. Had to try and get in front of Rowe.
Rowe goes long again towards Walker and co. And nipping in front is Gorringe.
Yeah, well, Shane Savage was on Gorringe on that occasion. I'm just not quite sure whether, well, obviously it wasn't the matchup, but still, if you're a half-back flank and you've got a mismatch, you need to play in front. You can just see Savage trailing in behind Gorringe. Just at the bottom of the screen. He's not even in the screen at that stage, but he was actually on Gorringe at that impact.
Playing just his 4th game for the year, and with 4 goals to his name. Gorringe from 48 metres. There's away to the right.
Something they can't really afford at the moment, the Blues. They're few and far between the scoring opportunities.
Yeah, the Saints have kicked 7 of the last 8 goals of this game. You've just joined us. The Blues led by 2 kicks early. Been all the Saints since then, and they've got this to perfection to Webster from the kick in. Couldn't play on though. Does go wide to Robertson, back to Webster, so it does work for the play on. The loose man. Ross pumps it high. Missed Bruce as the target, and he had to go back and cause a spoil. Did well on Byrne. Wiedering held his ground. Armitage pumps it long, hoping for Walker in a 1-on-2. Savage almost marked it in his attempt to spoil. Gilbert had Geary, faked for him, and now bungled it in the Thomas direction. Thomas swoops, no one's in the square. Tui can kick a long ball. He knows it. Blues fans know it. And he bursts the cover of it and puts it out of bounds on the full.
Yeah, it's a let-off.
It's probably the worst kick you'll see for the year.
He dropped that sideways, Kingy.
He got it to spin like I've never seen a ball spin before.
Dropped it sideways out of the hands and then chased it with the foot and kicked it backwards.
I thought we saw a couple, though, on Friday night that might challenge that.
True.
So, the Blues have got a problem on their hands here. Finding it very difficult to score. They've got an opportunity. And now 2 of them clash. And Cripps picks himself up.
It was a good attack from Jimmy Webster.
Yeah, I thought Cripps did a great job.
Yeah.
He did, yeah.
He provided protection.
And Lamb.
Webster was steaming him.
Lamb was the other one in that trio that clashed.
He bowled them all over, Jimmy.
It was good impact. Great courage from the 2 Carlton boys. You're right, Jace. The Cripps protection was outstanding.
There's 3 blokes landing flat on the back at once.
So Lamb with the free kick.
Been some tough hits in this game, isn't there?
Distance will be around the 50-metre mark. 45-degree angle. They desperately need their 5th goal before half-time. Long kick on its way, and it's a good-looking kick too. That's exactly what they needed. Great recovery from Jed Lamb after that heavy knock to kick the goal.
Well, they needed that one, Carlton, as we saw Brendan Bolton and Neil Craig talking in the box. They had repeat entries. Yeah, that's a strong contest from Webster, Cripps and Lamb, but they had 3 or 4 repeat entries, Carlton. They missed 2 really easy shots at goal. They desperately needed that one for their confidence and their momentum, because the last 4 or 5 minutes they have dominated the inside 50s, the Blues.
They need to start winning some clearances. 11-5 down this quarter. St Kilda well on top. 4 of those 5 clearances have been centre clearances, so Cruiser has been able to get them going out of the middle here. Can he do it on this occasion?
Yeah, Hidney's back in the ruck now, King. Pearce was in there for a while.
Stopped the run of 4 St Kilda goals in a row. Cruiser did win it down. Cripps, Gibbs, Cripps. Carriage, if it sits, he can go, and that's another horrendous kick.
Well, that should have been, yeah, you're right, Dwayne. That should have been going long to the square. Has bowled off Carriage's boot there. Cripps, you've got to be better than that. There's not a lot of pressure in that situation.
He is better than that. We know he's better than that. He knows he's better than that. 5 minutes left. But it has been a taxing kind of game. Gibbs outside of the boot, bounces it. Good tackle on Geary. Arfield still holds it in.
Well, on cue, David King wanted more clearances from Carlton. They've got the centre clearance and then that one just in front. So they're starting to get to work, the Carlton midfielders.
You'd expect it to be a hard, tough encounter. Both these teams have the bye next week, so you doubt they'll leave anything in the tank after this one. Stephen attacks it. Curnow stripped. Ross. Quickfire handball. Dunstan back. Savage. Pumps it wide. Minchington in a race with Simpson. Doesn't even get to him in the end. Webster got there first. And almost stripped by Lamb. Just roll out. Lamb was sensational. His first effort was superb. His second was awesome.
No, that was just magnificent. Have a look at the tackle for a start. Webster was away. Then he's still in the game. Minchington's tried to kick the ball and a great smother.
Phenomenal second effort. Cruiser. Down towards the half-forward line, looking for White. Blues desperate for a goal or two before the long break. Webster gives it away. They're under pressure here, the Saints, in the danger zone. Armitage over it, but there's been a whistle. It's holding the ball and it's going against Carlton.
They've certainly lifted their intensity around the football here, Carlton, in the last couple of minutes. I think they sense the urgency for some scoreboard reward here.
Just ticking in towards the 25-minute mark as Webster goes up towards centre wing. Big pack of players. There was some pushing and shoving going on there. Seemed to be a couple that were doing it, but Carlton are going to be the winners of the footy. So they come in towards the middle to Kerridge. He plays on straight away. Two is a long kick, but he goes short on this occasion. Mark not taken. Savage couldn't take it cleanly. Armfield gets the hand pass away. Sumner runs into a brick wall.
It's a great tackle.
They're not out of it yet. Savage may go again. White goes again. Gibbs is there. He's got it. He's lost it. Can't pick it up. Wide once more. And finally it's going to be the Saints who do clear. The Gilbert hand pass was okay on this occasion. Bruce pokes it wide. The Saints are away. Bruce is screaming. Also running down is Minchington. He's got it. 70 out and goes long towards Membry. Couldn't complete the mark. Two grabs. It was almost his. Dunstan's lurking. Not going to get a crack at it. And we've got a stoppage.
No, this is game on, isn't it? This is a great contest there. Membry nearly taking the contested mark. Really strong tackle on Minchington. Saved a certain goal.
You see he was frustrated with himself, Tim Membry. Got his hands to it. Should have taken that one.
Ball not down. Wright flicks it back. Geary looks up, sees what the options are, sprays it. Been an outstanding last 5 minutes, this contest. Blues with some momentum back their way. Saints still with a 19-point advantage. In the shadows of half-time, in front of a big crowd here at Etihad Stadium. Cruiser. Gilbert, third man up, or knocked to the front. Good hug at the boundary by Lamb. And the ball taken out by Levi Casbolt. And they can reset with 2:41 left in the half. And everybody takes a big breath, including the two coaches, Alan Richardson and Brendan Bolton.
From the throw-in, Cruiser uses the body. Third man up just pokes it wide. Saints have got the numbers. Nunes was one of them. Gives it off to Akers. He gives it away to Ross. Ross a little flick down the line. Just kept in play by Jack Stephen. No.
You reckon he juggled it over the line?
Yeah, Jack's debating it with the...
I don't think you completed over the line. Okay, so you thought it was a juggle? I thought it was one grab, so I'm happy to pay the mark. Okay. Unless you saw a juggle. In that case, I believe the ball's out on the full. Okay. So I think the ball
Well, he's not going to give it to Stephen either way.
He didn't want to give the ball to Jack Stephen, did he?
No.
Well, no.
Let's have a look here in the replay. There's his feet. Well, it's hard to tell from that angle.
He did say that he thought he completed the mark over the line.
Well, and then the umpire said he thought it was a one grab. So
there actually was a tiny little juggle in amongst it.
But then he said it was out in the foot.
Lee's kick, however, goes wide. Tui will lead in the race. Robertson is there as well. Tui is quick, needs a kind bounce, doesn't get it. Saints again with the numbers. Montagna comes away, goes in towards the middle. The door might open again for Ross. He goes wide to the outer side. Sam Rowe will affect the spoil, but can he recover? Membry's away, gets a hurried kick. It wobbles and dribbles up towards the line, the 50-metre defensive line for Carlton. Now here comes Simpson, charging through. First one way, and then he decides I'll do a U-turn and go backwards to Rowe, and that's what he does.
There were 3 Saints waiting back for his long kick, so he had to go back. Jack Stevens still not happy with that call. He was running into an open goal at that stage. Cruiser, Casbolt, all fly, hits the deck. Big minute and a half coming up here. Right dumped. Curnow, quick flick handball. Thomas weaves some magic. Tucked up against the boundary, kick not so good. Weller got there, dropped the mark. Arnfield gets there, shrugs a tackle. Rolls it, just got a toe on it. Chips the kick. Lamb couldn't get there in time. It's cut off.
You mentioned he's out here.
And he is. Stephen can get and go, though. It's a longer kick. He can gallop. Open paddock. Puts it out in front, hoping Bruce could feed back. Plowman holds him up. Huge late opportunity here for the Saints. Players look at the scoreboard. 30 minutes gone. They know there's not long left. Stephen goes down behind play. Armitage. And the seconds keep rolling.
Yeah, they've been into Stephen all day. All Carlton midfielders.
He goes inside to the man who started at Nunes. All the way to Robertson. Little fake. Seconds keep running. He backtracks and thinks about handing off. Lee around him. 20 seconds left.
He fancies himself playing. He'll take his time and give this a roost.
Just saw
Hasn't kicked the goal all year.
Just saw the St Kilda runner go out and say take your time. So
yeah, 11 goals in 92 games, none this year. Siren might put him off here. Right on the drop of the ball that siren sounded. And it stays in the field of play, but it started a little untidy, but it's gained some beautiful momentum this game. And the Saints up against the more favoured Blues with a number of their big guns out, putting on a massive show for their home fans. David King downstairs.
Down here with Sam Gilbert. Sam, a fantastic battle. How are you seeing it out there?
Yeah, it's pretty good. The contest is strong. Can't come out really strong, but I think we've fought back well.
We enjoyed that kick of yours across half back, mate. Didn't come off too good.
Thanks, mate. I was actually, I forgot which team I was on, I reckon, for a while.
Good on you, mate. Go and have a spell.
Cheers, mate.
Well, that was downright nasty of David King to go to Sam Gilbert. Other options out there. The Saints, though, have got to be happy with this. A 19-point lead at half-time.
Etihad Stadium with the roof open, a cool winter's day, but plenty of sunshine. And I would imagine St Kilda and the AFL will be delighted to see the crowd that has turned out here on this Sunday afternoon. It's a home game for the Saints. They'd be licking their chops, Danny Frawley.
No, they will be, Sandy. Apparently all admission seats have been sold. Over 47,000 people here today. So really big opportunity and great for supporters. A lot of Carlton supporters here as well. And I think both sides and supporters would be really rapt with what they're going to see now and in the future, because it's a really good contest, Jace.
Yeah, it's been an exciting one. It's been an interesting one, though. None of the midfielders are necessarily dominating. It's a lot of rebounding from half-back, and then it becomes a matter of who's going to take the opportunities. But the Saints have played well enough to open up a 3-goal break. They just need to back it up now in the second half.
Yeah, I think what Kingy was talking about, did St Kilda waste those opportunities early in the first quarter, because they had 20 inside 50s for 2 goals, 3 goals, so it wasn't a lot of return on the scoreboard for a big dominance around the midfield. And I think Brendan Bolton, on the other hand, he'd be looking at his midfielder saying St Kilda scored 5 goals from clearances, so we really need to stem the flow in that position. More importantly, Tom Hickey, he's been the main source of the scoring for St Kilda. So Matty Cruz has had a pretty good year, but Tom Hickey's definitely got the favourite at the moment. He's been dominant, Tom Hickey.
Just saw a little bit of gauze up the nose of Dennis Armfield, obviously trying to control a blood nose. But they need to lift the Blues. I mean, they are the form team, having won 6 out of the last 7, but they are not playing well enough to win at the moment.
Ball back in the middle. 19 points the margin. In front of this monster crowd on a Sunday afternoon at Etihad Stadium. Hickey and Cruiser go back at it. Cruiser gets his own clearance. Savage, little tap in the Stevens and Armitage direction. Curnow picks it off, thumps it inside 50, Robinson cuts it off.
That's what St Kilda done really well today. Just having someone out the back inside Carlton's defensive 50 to get those intercept marks.
Gently massaged it wide to Montagna. Little double clutcher. Now to Geary. Good kick. He can go if he wants. Ross out wide. Stevens screaming for it, puts it in front. Back inside again to Ross. It's to Bruce. Had to come all the way up to the wing. Did he play on? He did play on, didn't want to play on. In the end, the umpire told him to keep going. Geary tries to tightrope the boundary and runs it out. Last time these two teams met, it was in Wellington. Only about 10,000 in New Zealand for their contest last year. This is 45,000 plus here for this Saints home game against the Blues this year. They've got to be mighty happy with their decision to play this one here.
My word. Cripps does the ruck work. Flicked out the back. Kerridge. Now Curnow, the 100 gamer, off to Gibbs. They need the first one badly. Here's Thomas going wide to the outer side. Going to be okay. Lamb takes the mark. Wants to go in the middle to the running Thomas, who can keep running. Now gives it back again from whence it came. The long bomb. Savage is at the back and controlled it well. It's the last two entries for Carlton.
Yep. Marks to St Kilda, intercept marks. One to Robin and one to Savage.
And now Weller. Spearing it low, keeping it low. It's going to be all right. Gresham gives it to Ross. Ross out wide. Saints at one stage led by 26 points. The margin at the moment is 19.
Just look a bit more composed, a little bit more in control at the moment, the Saints.
Membry's kick was short. As you said, Jason, they're controlling it at the moment. They'll go inside 50. In towards the big guns, up towards Hickey and co. He was in the pack, but that was all. Minchington tried to get boot to ball. Unsuccessful.
No, you're right, Jace. St Kilda have had 12 kicks and had 12 marks. So every kick they've had has hit a target.
Thrown up. Hickey again. Up against Cruiser. Cripps could have been taken high, but he managed to shrug the tackle. Plowman. Right, and again over the boundary line.
It's interesting, we spoke about the battle between Wiedering and Membry in the first half, and it looks like Carlton have made a change. So Jacob Wiedering is now playing on Josh Bruce, and it's Sam Rowe who's gone on to Tim Membry.
A bit of experience perhaps on Membry after his big start to this contest. 3 goals in the opening half. Dive from Casbolt, got it to right. Cripps calling for the handball. Lamb, still Cripps there, but again not a lot to go too long, so he has to hold it up and wait for the cavalry. Gibbs, little wobbler inside. Gresham read it to perfection. Stephen, free kick behind, plays caught by the ear. Play on advantage paid. Ross back to Stephen, straight down the spine, hoping for Bruce. And as you said, Jason, Wiedering on Bruce now, and after conceding 3 to Membry, might be about to concede 1 to Bruce.
One thing they're doing really well, St Kilda, are taking Wiedering deep. And you talked about it, Jace, with Membry on Wiedering early, and now he's on Bruce. You can see Bruce playing in the corridor, holding in the corridor, forcing Wiedering to defend. There's not much you can do when you see Stephen run down the middle of the ground without a lot of pressure.
Hasn't kicked one yet. That's what he has ahead of him. Doesn't bend back anywhere near enough, and only behind.
Got a chance to put some serious pressure on the Blues right now. Got to put scoreboard pressure on, open up a break, because they are controlling the game, the Saints.
Doherty to himself, and then away.
It's a kick in hope.
Towards Cruiser. Walker there as well. Pushed down in front. Kerridge towards the boundary line, and it's over.
Stephen off the ball again. Gibbs just got Jack Stephen there. There's no doubt he needs some help, Jack Stephen. They're targeting him, the Carlton players, which is fair enough.
Cruiser wins it to Gibbs. And again taken over the line. Good pressure.
This has been happening all day. Not his direct opponent, just other players around the periphery. We saw it against Geelong 2 weeks ago when Carlton played. Motlop was the player that was targeted. So no doubt Bolton has had Jack Stevens' name numbered before the game.
Well, it hasn't stopped him here. From 48 metres, he sets sail for home. He's away to the right. It's coming back. Good on you, Jackie Stephen. Hit me as hard as you like, and I'll stitch you up.
Beautifully called, Sandy. And that's the best way to hurt Carlton. As you said, you can worry about the hits off the ball, but you win the ball, and another goal from clearance is just a magnificent play. And you're right, Jace, they've dominated the start of this last quarter. Again, Hickey's had a great impact. Stevens sized it up, not another option, and he's gone long for goal. It's okay to hit off the ball when there's nothing around, but when the ball's up, that's when Jack Stevens does his best work. Great hands from Hickey from a ruckman, 200 centimetres at ground level.
Love the fact that he had a good look to see what the best option was, and because there wasn't one, he then steadied and decided to take the shot on, executed it beautifully.
Tough day for Ed Curnow in game 100. Side by side with Stephen again for this clearance. Hickey dominating at the moment. Everett hasn't seen a lot of it. Stripped, didn't really have it. Ball to the back, Stephen again. Flicks it out. And wide. And the mark taken just inside the 50 by Dunstan. Looks up at his options. Got a couple screaming for the long bomb. Gives us some air. Gave it a ride, but only behind to the near side. So they've had chances to be further in front than this. But this is their biggest margin of the game.
Dunstan will learn from that. He was always going to get the distance. He wasn't sure what to do. Just go back and assess and kick the goal, because he made the distance easily.
So once again, the margin out to 27 points. Knocked down by Savage. Simpson running towards the middle, gives it off to Walker. Gets it away just in time before Gilbert arrives, but it was good pressure. And now the door opens once again. This is Webster to half forward. Armitage in trouble, swung in a 360. So they've still got possession of the ball. Short little one by Montagna up towards full forward. Waiting down is Jackie Nunes. He's got it. 2 mighty goals in 2 minutes for the Saints. And it's now a case of catch me if you can.
Jimmy Webster is one player we haven't talked about today, David King, but 17 disposed. You talk about those intercepts in the middle of the ground. Have a look at Webster here, King. Talk us through it.
Oh, he's had 4 so far today, and that's where you'd like to see these young defenders be really aggressive and take a proactive position and try and create something on the rebound for the Saints. We haven't seen it a lot this year, but today we've seen it time and time again, and it's been Gilbert, it's been Webster, it's been Montagna. They've been fantastic behind the ball today. Savage has done his job, probably led the way down there, but a great snap in the end, but set up off turnover.
Yeah, some of the front and squares today have been outstanding from St.Kilda. That was great from Nunes. Again, just still over the ball, getting to the coalface.
Gorringe in the right, but again, Hickey wins it out. And again, Stephen, the delivery man, sets it up long. Sits it on them, and a big mark. Embry, great hands.
You talked about it, Wayne and Sandy, about no Nick Riewoldt. All of a sudden, Embry thinks, I'm a chance to mark the ball. McCartan out with concussion. He's the go-to player, and what a game we've played. But again, Hickey to Stephen, we've seen that a lot in the middle today, and of course, Embry sealing the deal for them.
Carlton's won the last 4 contests between these two. This is the biggest task Brendan Bolton has had in his short coaching career. Losing to a team below them at the moment and getting spanked by 39 points.
Well, they're threatening to blow it wide open as Membry kicks his 4th. 12 possessions, 7 marks now. We're just watching a little bit of the one-on-one between Curnow and Stephen. And the dominance just continues at the stoppages, driving the ball forward. And now that he's got his confidence up, he just judges it better than Sam Rowe did. And you can see the St Kilda teammates of Membry into the face of Sam Rowe, supporting their man, trying to dominate the Carlton defence.
9 marks to 4 inside the forward 50 for St Kilda. Already 3 marks in this 3rd quarter, so they're starting to use the ball extremely well, the Saints.
Threatening to be a blowout.
Let's see what happens with Lewis Pearce now going onto the ball. Here we go once again. It's Dunstan this time, and he's going long and low. We've got runners at the back. They won't get there in time. And and it's over the line for one behind.
They are running on top of the ground, the Saints. They are running in numbers, outnumbering the Blues at every opportunity.
Yeah, 8 inside 50s for 6 scoring shots for the Saints in this third quarter.
What can the Blues do? That's the question. Sam Gilbert's the flyer from the side on centre wing. It was White who got the hand pass away. Well, they've got a problem. Dunstan gives it back to Gilbert. Playing with confidence now. Ross gives it off to Dylan Robertson. Robertson sees a player downfield and he's got him. Yep. Weller has taken the mark. He'll have a shot. 25 out. And this is amazing.
That's the second time this quarter, though, there's been 3 forwards and 2 defenders. They had a spare. So they separated, they created a bit of space and made it very, very easy for Robertson, who was coming down, to pick the right option.
Well, Mav Weller has averaged a goal a game this season. 11 games, 11 goals. Saints fans will be hoping he can continue that average right now.
And what he does to St Kilda's forward half, he puts a lot of forward line pressure on. It mightn't be tackles, but perceived pressure, because he's got a great set of wheels.
8 goals, 3 he's kicked from set shots this year. And he's missed it. He has missed it badly. Just sneaking in from behind. 8 goals, 4 from set shots.
Yeah, 9 inside 50s at the moment to St Kilda for 7 scoring shots. Carlton have only been in twice in this third quarter.
41-point margin. Doherty. In Cruiser and Casbot and Cripps' direction. Carlton free. Cruiser's ball.
Yeah, against Lewis Pearce. You learn from that.
This is where there's no run and spread, though. St Kilda's working harder. They're running. They've got more numbers behind the ball, more numbers ahead of the ball. It's just work rate.
The Orange. Lee with a fist from behind, and he's hobbling on the leg that's got the knee strapped.
Yeah,
back into the lineup this week.
He didn't land too good. Tommy Lee on that occasion.
Let's hope Lee is okay. And an up and down career. Dunstan. Gone. That wasn't a handball. Ran himself into trouble and into the waiting arms of right. Here's Carlton's chance. Someone needs to start the drive. Get the momentum going their direction. Maybe a big mark forward. He drives it. Casbolt, Everett, stolen from Everett by his own teammate, and Crutch, another big tackle.
Yeah, Daisy Thomas there. Looked like it was Everett's ball. Couldn't excuse him. He did hit the pad running.
So if you're on the phone in the Carlton coach's box, I reckon there'd be messages running everywhere.
Down towards White, little double clutch. Thomas tucked up against the boundary, outside the boot, centering kick, and Robertson. Good saving mark. And the Saints meeting every challenge so far. 41 points up.
Come out of it from Robertson to Montagna, down towards Ross. Saints running and still running. Away he goes. Webster in towards full forward. Hickey's at the back and it's pushed over the line.
Yeah, no Dempster, no Fisher. Out of the St Kilda back half. Jimmy Webster's one player that in particular he's stepped up. He's at the 18 disposals with his run and carry.
And Lee is hobbling. He's come off with that knee.
Well, that's bad luck for Lee coming back into the side this week. Burns sweeps it wide. And they've got a chance. Wiedering, long and low. It wobbles up towards centre wing. But, the Saints repelling every advantage at the moment. Doherty comes in from the side and he smashes it down. Waiting there was Kerridge, gets the hand pass away. They're doing everything under pressure at the moment. Burn again up towards the half back line, and a good strong mark taken by Casbolt.
Yeah, it's a good strong mark, but the issue for Carlton, he's taken it on the half back line.
Yeah, and who does he kick it to now? So they've got Gorringe, who's playing as another tall forward, but he hasn't been able to really compete in the air at this stage.
Kerridge short. They're just hugging the boundary line at the moment.
So Cruz is pushing forward as well now.
Yeah, Gill will man him up.
Cripps goes laterally to Burn.
You'd expect, Jace, they'll go tall now with Lee off the ground.
And
it's whether they can get enough ball down there, King. That's the issue for them.
To Doherty, who comes to Simpson.
Put Wiedering up.
Simpson to Wiedering, who's on centre wing.
Play on, play on, play on, play on.
Ball to go, and he does. Putting them inside 50 towards Casbolt. He could have got a shove. It mattered not because big Louis came over the top and took a good mark. Pearce goes short, finds Ross.
Hold there, Daniel. Move it on, play on. You. Yep.
Ross towards Montagna, got a hand to it. Simpson over the line, and another throw in.
That's why we talk about Tom Lee's been taken downstairs for a look at that. You can see that left knee, I think it is, that they're assessing downstairs. Might be the, yeah, that left knee there just gives way, just buckles underneath him there. He's only played 15 games of AFL footy. He's had a checkered start to his career.
Well, the unfortunate part about that, King, all the weight went on his right knee when he landed.
Didn't seem to be much in it, did it?
The left knee.
Right, here's the moment for the Blues to get them back in it.
Well called, Dwayne. They desperately need scoreboard pressure now, Carlton. That's one of the few times the clearances, they've come for the wing. They centred the ball beautifully. That was the key. The run in the midfield, and then Tui taking the game on, just had the time and space to give it out to right, and he finished truly. So one of the few times that come out of St Kilda's forward half without a lot of pressure. So they just need more of it now, Carlton. They need to get their runners involved in the game. Tui, Gibbs, Cripps, and Thomas and Simpson.
16 minutes gone in this third term. 73 plays 38. Saints still in the box seat to record their 5th win of the season. Hickey slaps it to guess who? Jack Stevens, but he didn't get the greatest of bounces initially. Now he's away, but Kerridge catches him. They're inside 50, however. Curnow goes to ground, tries to get the hand pass out and does to Byrne. Byrne across to Rowe. They're under real pressure, but they're going to get out of it through Thomas. Thomas a little flick to Cripps, who marks on the half-back line. Pops it over the top to accommodate Doherty. He's in trouble. Did get it away. Now Gilbert's going to lock it up. And the Saints continuing to apply the pressure.
Kerridge there.
Some of the Blues feeling the pinch.
Sorry, Sandy. Kerridge there. He's okay now.
So a throw in on centre wing. Hickey again with Cruiser. The latter wins it, but the Saints looking to take it away, and they do. Ross, a little chip. Not the greatest kick. And Sam Rowe picks it up. He gives it wide to Curnow, who just keeps it in play. Pops it over the top. They're going to need 2 or 3 goals rapidly to finish this quarter to make it a big final term and have a chance of continuing their winning run. They've got it just inside 50. Hickey again with Cruiser. Push down in front. Montagna to Hickey. Now Armitage. Armitage almost going laterally. He could have been looking for Jack Stephen, who's there. And he's got it now. And away he goes. Oh, Gresham was off. He had it spent a little early, but he recovers. Gives it back to Stephen, who sizes up the situation, then just pushes it to accommodate Ross, who goes in towards goal over the top of Minchington, and he gets the goal. There's the quick answer by the Saints.
Good run and carry. And Seb Ross, I'm really glad he kicked the goal because he had Tim Memory all on his own with a square-up ball. He's got 25 touches, the most on the ground now, Seb Ross. Just have a look at the space that opens up. He's got a paddock in front of him. He just does it nicely. Now, he had a lateral kick to the right, which would have found Tim Membry in the corridor on his own, but he's running straight at goal. Entitled to take the shot if he feels comfortable with it, and executed beautifully.
Going to crack it for his 50th game. Next game, not next week, of course. They've got the bias, have the Blues, but that's against Geelong the week after. And there's his day so far today. Seb Ross. The margin back out to 41. Cruiser. Curnow gets one back on Stephen, outside of the boot. White floats in. Robertson, good spoil. Webster, wobbly clearance. Bounced on a 10. Thomas, faked. Gibbs, here's his moment. Stand, start, drop, punt. Don't give up on him yet.
Well, the game's opening up, and that's what Carlton need to do. They just need to make the most of their opportunities, but they need some scoreboard pressure continually. Yeah, that was great pressure in the back half there. Forced Webster to turn the ball over. Really good hands out to Gibbs, but they need back-to-back goals, Carlton. Yep. They just can't allow St Kilda now to get one out of the centre and get some territory or score. They need a run of goals.
It had been a while since they got such a good contest in there. That was Simon White. The kick was actually to his advantage. The last few long high balls haven't been to the advantage of the forwards, haven't really allowed them to have an aerial presence. Now, he didn't take the mark, White, but he brought it down in front, and the Saints defenders were immediately under pressure.
Back to a 35-point ball game. Hickey and Cruiser once again. The ladder gives it across to Cripps, who gives it to Gibbs. They're looking dangerous now. They're up towards the right, and over the top was Geary. Couldn't complete the mark, and the ball sails over the boundary line.
He left his opponent well. He left Armfield. They're making all sorts of changes, Brendan Bolton. He's now got Jacob Wiedering playing forward, which is interesting. Brought him to the bench, probably had a chat to him and said, well, things aren't working down in defence, so go forward and see if you can kick a goal.
Cruiser, Hickey tried to get it out. Walker dribbles one in towards Wiedering. Ball is held to him by Dylan Robertson.
Now, we spoke about the challenge for Jacob Wiedering because he was getting beaten early. Membry got a hold of him, kicked 3 on him. Josh Bruce then took a mark, leading on him and kicked a goal. So now he gets an opportunity perhaps just to attack the footy and not worry about his opponent, but see if he can hit the scoreboard.
Cripps almost threw it out the back to accommodate Curnow. Curnow may get another crack at it. Weller is there for the Saints, working hard. Curnow flicks it in towards goal and puts through behind.
Gibbs is really starting to have some impact too for Carlton. Starting to get some quality ball in the clinches.
A crucial 6.5 minutes in this game for both sides. Robertson bringing it back. The Saints determined to hold their lead. The Blues hoping to cut it enough to challenge in the final term. Simpson was in front but couldn't mark. Everett has been quiet. Now Minchington. Handball was okay to Dunstan. Off to Akers. He's out of the danger zone for the moment. And it's okay. Finds his man in Webster.
You got the ruckman and Kieran Byrne.
And Lewis is there. He got a hand to it. Couldn't complete the mark. Weller's waiting down, does the roving work, but he pulls it a little too much away to the right and one behind.
Yeah, really good strong contest there from Pearce. Again, the front and square work for St Kilda. Always had someone at the drop of the ball, and that's what you want Lewis Pearce to do, just to give a strong contest, bring it to ground.
It's going to make a few of the Carlton defenders nervous, those that have to play a little bit taller too.
Curnow getting a few touches back on Stephen, who's been on most of the afternoon. Heads wide with this one, and Webster takes the mark. Curnow and Stephen know each other quite well. Geelong Falcons boys, both 26 years of age. Mottawari and Lorne. I won't mind going head-to-head for the rest of the afternoon. Robertson looks up at his options. Dangerous. Geary waits for the bounce. Casbolt knocks it down. Opens up for Sumner. The shake. Back to the Cas. And how big is this kick?
That was clever. That was clever by Liam Sumner, but they've got the ball at half.
He's missed the target.
Just kick the goal, Levi.
He didn't trust himself. And Wright might get the chance to make it all right.
In the space of a couple of kicks, St Kilda went from half forward to the opposite half back flank and turned it over. That's amazing.
Oh, the murmurs ring around this full Etihad Stadium. 5 minutes left. Crowd, of course, don't know how long left. They see 24 gone in the quarter. And they can just sense a little bit of a momentum shift if this one is slotted. He's already kicked one this quarter, Matthew Wright. You'll hear a massive roar. Looks okay. Looks beautiful.
Beautifully called, Wayne. That's what Carlton needed. Casbolt, not sure what he was thinking. He just go back and kick the goal, but then the Robertson kick caused the turnover. But have a look at Casbolt, just kicked the ball to nothing in the end. And Joey Montana gives the ball to Savage. He turns the ball over short to 50-50, and just a comedy of errors, and Carlton, in the end, capitalised. But Levi Casbolt, you're a forward. You've marked the ball 40 out. Just go back and kick the goal.
Because he's kicked too straight as well. He's actually striking the ball well, Levi, so his confidence should be up.
Back to a 29-point ball game. 4.5 minutes left in this term. Now the Blues coming. Let's see what happens this time in the middle. Hickey pops it over the top. Saints will come away through Jack Stephen. Long in towards full forward. Gee, that's well done. Penetrating kick from the middle by Stephen.
He's a dangerous memory, hasn't he?
His movement is troubling the Carlton defence. His lateral movement's superb. He goes on long leads. He's got good leg speed. He's pretty good at the craft when it comes to kicking goals.
I think your key word there, Jace, was lateral movement. I'm led to believe, well, Sammy Hamill has done a lot of work with Membry, and they're similar types if you have a look at Membry and Hamill.
Here's the kick from Membry for number 5. And he makes no mistake. What a day he's having. 2 in the first quarter, 1 in the second. and now 2 in the third. And the Saints, at the moment, able to answer every challenge.
Well, it was an important goal, and again, a clearance from Tom Hickey to Stephen. And we've seen this about 3 or 4 times today. Hickey to Stephen to Membry. No Riewoldt, no Paddy McCartan, and they need to step up collectively, but Membry's the one that kicked 5, Sandy.
You mentioned Aaron Hamill. He looks a little different to me lately.
Yeah, he's lost a bit of the hair follicle, Sandy, old Sam. But no, he's done a really good job with Tim Membry. There's no doubting that. And again, opportunity. He spent a number of years up in Sydney, Membry, without an opportunity, and now he's making the most of his rewards.
He'd be happy with that little drive by Sammy Hamill, won't he?
Right. Oh, he's commonly known as Feathers down at St.Kilda.
Oh, come on.
Cripps out of the middle, heads toward Gibbs. Stolen back again by Dunstan.
Look at that.
Stephen. Weller. Momentum back for the Saints. He can hit a long bomb. That's out of here. Brilliant goal by Weller.
Well, that's the one thing they have been able to do, is just as soon as the Blues look like they might be putting some sort of resistance up, they just go bang, bang. With the quick one from Memory, who was a beautiful kick with the banana. And now, again, it's the ball coming out of the middle. They didn't win first possession, but they won it back through tackling. And then they're able to control the run through the middle of the ground. And Mav Weller with a head of steam up, round 1, and then bombs away from 55.
All of a sudden, back to a 41-point lead. Cruiser and Hickey.
Yeah, well, Jack Stephen has had 8 scoring assists at the moment, all out of the midfield. What a game. He's only had the 20 disposals, but it's been the quality of his balls.
So effective. Cripps out of the centre. Time for the Blues to answer if they're good enough. Armfield beaten by Savage, tried to get it to Montagna, couldn't do so. Now an opportunity for Sumner. A hurried high ball by Curnow. And a good mark defensively by Dylan Robertson.
He's taken a couple of really good intercept marks, Dylan Robertson.
Goes short, very short. In fact, so short he can take it back again with a hand pass. Almost running out of room. He gets past Casbolt. Gets a kick up towards the half-back line. Gresham leaves it. Now Ross. 1 bounce and he's away. 2 bounces, he's on the wing. 3 bounces, he's heading towards half-forward. Gets a kick as he was almost pushed down towards the 50-metre line. Once again, the opportunity is there for Memory, but he's got to beat a couple this time. He can't do that. But he's having a field day up in the forward line for the Saints. He's kicked 5. And with 2.5 minutes remaining, time for more.
Good run from Seb Ross, but you've got to admire the chase from Matty Cruiser. Yeah. He ran 100 after him, and at the end was starting to reel him in.
That was what desire, wasn't it, from Cruiser?
He doesn't have the speed off the mark, Cruiser, but he just picks it up and generates it as he gets going. Have a look at him just starting to reel in Seb Ross. Otherwise, Ross could have had another couple of bounces and kept going.
Yeah, maybe deliberate lace out to a teammate forward. Just put enough pressure on, but they've still got it here, the Saints.
I think that's where Alan Richardson will be wrapped today, the tackling pressure from the Saints.
Squeeze kick, looking for the lead of Bruce. Off hands. Weller again. Sprays it. And it's out on the full. So if you join us late, the Blues have got this back to 29 points. About 10 minutes ago, the Saints have steadied with the last 2 goals of the contest with 2 minutes left for 3/4 time. Tui, Byrne, Kerridge, Lamb. They tightrope the boundary. In fact, they're out of bounds on the full now. Webster, but he's not going to get to take it. Yes, he is. Montagna, some poise here from the Saints. No need to do anything crazy. This is the equal biggest lead of the game, 41 points. Montagna sits it up. Bruce is lurking. Off hands, Gresham. Beautiful crumb. Not such a great kick. It's on the full. Didn't even bend around to stay in play.
Well called, Wayne. That's been one of the highlights of St Kilda today, Jace. The amount of St Kilda players have hit the pack and got front and square positions.
Everett goes to the outer side. Geary uses the body, but used it illegally. And Sumner will take the free kick.
Yeah, go around, mate.
Sumner's on half-back. Thinks about coming across the ground. has a look and then decides, no, we'll head down the line. That's what he does towards centre wing. It bounces back towards Dunstan. He didn't get a look at it, but he applies a tackle. Well, the umpire said too high. He'll be disappointed with that. But it's Thomas, the recipient. Short. Still virtually on the wing with Curnow. Back to Thomas. And now he does go backwards. Plowman. So the switch is on to Tui. Pops it over the top. And Everett spears a pass towards Simpson. 30 seconds left. They dearly love another goal, and they're going to get the opportunity for a shot if Kerridge is going to take it. He's going to be kicking from 54 metres. He just pops it up. Top of the square. He wants Cruiser. Didn't get him initially. Wiedering's at the back. Gives a little ground. Gets the hand pass away. Thomas is a high ball. Back towards Casbolt. In front was Hickey. Hickey does well. He just puts boot to ball and he belts it clear to the outer side of the ground. White is there for Carlton. Pick it up. And he does eventually. But he runs out of time. And the Saints hold their lead and their nerve. And they will go into the final term with a great opportunity of winning their 5th game of the season. St Kilda 14-8-92. Carlton are 8-3-51. It is the Saints by 41 points.
Jack Stephen had 5 inside 50s that quarter for 5 St Kilda marks. That is a great performance in the third quarter.
The youngster Lewis Pearce starting on the bench. It's going to be Hickey up against Cruiser. First goal absolutely vital. Curnow had it and then lost it. Armitage is well claimed.
It's a big last 30 minutes for the Blues. I think they've gained so much respect over the last 6 or 7 weeks. They don't want to undo a lot of that. They want to make sure they give themselves something to go forward with from this last quarter.
Gibbs was third man up. Minchington's kick is wide and Cripps will be first to it. Penetrating hand pass back towards Gibbs, but it was a little too wide and he couldn't juggle it. So it's over the line on the outer wing. In front of some very contented St Kilda fans at the moment. But a quarter to go. We know how quickly it can change. Hickey and Cruiser. Hickey wins it. And once again, the Terrors. Jack Stephen, David Armitage combining. Up towards the 50. Well done by Ross. Go all the way. The kick is on its way. He likes it. He loves it. What a way to start. Jackie Stephen does it again.
Beautifully called, Sandy. If you're watching at home and you're a youngster, you want to know how to get the ball, just keep running. The gut running from Stephen. Have a look at this. He gets the ball in the wing. He kicks the ball in. Dunstan impacts. Seb Ross looks out to the right. Who is it? Jack Stephen. That is great on-ball, hard gut running, and more importantly, seals the deal with a goal over the goal umpire's hat. 2 goals, 1 for Stephen. I think he's had 9 scoring assists now as well. So he'll be the #1 ranked player on the ground, there's no doubt, with Hickey, Jack Stephen. What a combination those 2 lads have been today. And have a look at the metres gained. 713 with disposals. That's outstanding.
Gibbs flicks it back. Doherty under pressure. Another brilliant, hard, bruising tackle. And we'll get another ball up. This is a phenomenal performance by the Saints. Carlton came into this having won 6 of their last 7. The Saints lost key men last week. McCartan, Riewoldt. They lost Goddard again. And yet here they are dominating this. And this is their biggest margin of the game if you just joined us. 47 points as Geary's wrapped up. And he holds it up.
Yeah, this would be one of the youngest St Kilda teams, Dwayne, that they've put on the park for about 8 or 9 years, I would have thought, with, as you said, those names out of the team. Fisher, Dempster, Riewoldt.
Curnow back to Kerridge. More pressure. Right to Cruiser. Right. Bang! Ran into Nunes. Ross gets it back. He's stripped. Armfield tries to break away. Couldn't get away with it. Again. White tries to break through, can't get away with it. Membry in the middle, lending a hand. Wright feeds it out. Gilbert to sidestep, just got away. Flicks a handball and there's an option out there. Savage heads wide to Geary. Can take off if he wants to. Holds it up.
Saints, of course, were belted last week And at the moment, it's a 135-point turnaround from that 88-point loss last week to the Crows.
We've spoken a bit about the Jack Stephen and the Ed Curnow matchup. I'll let you go, Spud.
Yeah, just have a look at the average age there at St Kilda at the moment, 24.5 compared to Carlton. You're going this game thinking Carlton were more experienced, but St Kilda are a year younger.
Rowe gives it to Curnow, who gives it even wider, and they go down towards centre wing. Casbolt was there, so too was Lamb. He kicked the goal in the second quarter, but what's he got ahead of him? Just Everett and Gilbert, and Everett out of the shadow into the sunshine takes the mark.
Good kick from Lamb going forward, because Everett wasn't sure what he wanted to do. He was pointing, do you want me to lead back up? And then he just put his head down and he set sail towards goal, and Lamb was good enough to get the penetration on the kick.
Yeah, it was a really good gut running from Everett too. One of the few times Carlton have been able to get out the back of St Kilda's defence today.
Been a quiet day though for Andreas Everett.
Probably had his most consistent year, Andreas, under Bolton this year. 7
disposals. And, well, when it's your day, and when it's not, that's what you do.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of momentum in that kick. It was just a waltz in and hope to kick a goal. It didn't seem like there was much purpose in that shot at goal from Everett.
Talking earlier about the Jack Stephen Ed Curnow matchup, it's finally been released after 3 quarters. I mean, they've had similar possessions, but Stephen's starting to do too much damage. Sam Kerridge has gone onto him now, and they're both off having a spell at the moment.
Savage brings it back. There's going to be a free kick going the way of the Saints. It's interesting. The Saints' biggest winning margin so far this year has been 46 points. That was against Essendon in round 9. So they certainly have the opportunity of eclipsing that, but there's still a long way to go. Just 5 minutes into this final term as Minchington takes the mark, gives it off to Bruce. He comes laterally now. It's going to be okay. Delaney back in the side this week, gives it off to Montagna. Here's Membry again. Spoiled and pushed away to the boundary line. And unable to get there in time for the Saints was Jade Gresham.
He's entitled to be upset, Gresham, and he has a look back at Montagna, who gives him an apology. He was all on his own, and in the end, Montagna kicked it straight over his head to a contest.
Just on the 50 for the Saints. Hickey looking to maintain front spot against Gorringe. Cripps working hard, but lost the footy to Curnow. Stephen claimed, tried to get it to Armitage. Gibbs is in the way, however, and he's taken over the line.
Cruiser having a rest off the ground at the moment. Wiedering also off, having a rest. 16 minutes left. Both teams heading into a bye next week. Hickey, Gorringe against him, and he wins it down decisively. Nunes overcooked his handball attempt. Could have been high on right. It is.
Yeah, well called, Dwayne. Just went really low there, right. Nothing Gilbert could do.
Sits it on Doherty, still good enough, and he pumps it. Everett gets another opportunity. He plays on, doesn't want the set shot, and drives it through.
No, really good goal. Shane Savage, he was the one on that occasion that could impact the marking situation in the middle of the ground. He either spoiled the ball or body spoiled the direct opponent. He did get some body, but you can see here he laid off Doherty, so he had to body line him to keep him away from the goals. As it was just a half a body spoil, which allowed Doherty to play on and give an easy kick to Everett for a goal. So just had to body line the body on that occasion, Shane Savage.
It's been one of the Blues' best again, Sam Doherty. 24 possessions now, 440 metres gained.
Lewis Pearce back on the ball for the Saints, up against Gorringe. The Saints have been able to reply to almost every Carlton goal. Let's see what happens this time. Out of the middle, it's poked wide. Nunes may get a run at it. He does. Goes back inside to Ross. Tries a little. Well, it's going to work. A little chip kick. Thought it had gone too far, but it hadn't. That one did to Pearce. So the door opens for Tui. He goes wide and long towards Matthew Wright. He's kicked a couple of goals. Wright goes inboard to Gibbs. Thought about Cripps. Now goes laterally and may come undone because Membry gets it away. And here they go. Akers pushes it out wide. The Saints can answer once again. Jackie Stephen will go back. I reckon he thought about running on. But he's had such a wonderful day. He's got 2 goals to his name.
Yeah, the adrenaline was pumping Sandy, but he did the right thing in the end because Bruce was trying to call for the ball, but he would have been under extreme pressure. Just go back, compose yourself, and hopefully kick it at
23 disposals, Spud at 88%. Outstanding day. Can he finish it off? Kicking from 48 metres. The crowd will tell the story. They tell the story for the Sainters. Stephen gets his 3rd, and again, they answer the challenge.
Just pretty ordinary turnover in the middle of the ground from Bryce Gibbs. I know he's trying to make something happen, looking to square it up, but really didn't give Cripps much of a Byrne much of a chance to get on the end of that. He was outnumbered, and then the quick turnover, they were always going to get punished.
Jace, he's in All-Australian contention, isn't he, Jack Stephen? He's had 24 disposals today. He's averaging 30 across the course of the year. But what's more impactful is 14 of those 24 have resulted in scores. And that's a massive impact when you think your team's only scored 24 times and he's had a hand in 14 of them.
No, spot on, Kingy. He's had 24 disposals, but 10 of those are inside 50s. So you see a lot of midfielders get you 30, 35, but they have 4 or 5 inside 50s. He's done the damage where it is most, forward of the centre.
Thanks, Jace.
Wiedering coming off half-back, but straight to Robertson. Savage. Ugly bounce. Montagna looking into the sun. Webster. Spears it wide. It's cut off by Plowman. Back into the middle to Simpson. Haven't stopped trying here, at least the Blues. Bang, roadblock tackle. White backed his way out of it. Simpson. Tui.
How many times have they been forced into a chain of hand passes or kicks backwards like that?
And this is how it started.
Yep.
For the Blues in the opening 5 minutes.
May end the same way, Dwayne.
Yeah, they spent the whole first 5 minutes inside defensive 50 with possession. Curnow short. Simpson, half back, holds it up.
Play on.
Byrne.
Next man. Play on. You.
Gorringe. But again, just at half back. Everett finally gets out on the wing in some space. Gibbs is there for him. And now he's shut down. So he's only really got 3 backward options. Thumps it up in the cruiser direction. Couple to beat him. Edged out. Free kick.
Carlton pushed him under the flying ball.
Big Cruz might be just beyond his range. Thinks about handballing. Thinks better of it. Everett was lurking. Looks around at other options. Nothing there for him. Time is of the essence anyway. Hits the top of the square. Hickey's there. Cripps leaps over the back. Right play for the free. First goal perhaps for Wiedering, straight up in the air. Could mark his own ball. Thump down. Sumner. He keeps it alive to his detriment. He gave it to the wrong right. And now they're away, the Saints. Sweller pumps it out wide and they're back in control. Back inside Akers. Savage. Akers showing some poise here. Gresham normally uses it well. Spears it out wide. Didn't use it well there. White. Weller corrals him. Tui. It's not pretty for Blues fans, and the scoreline certainly not. Nice sidestep from Tui. Heads wide and Carey just got it.
The coach has made his way down to the bench here, the Blues coach, Brendan Bolton. He just wants to eyeball his players. They're coming on and off the field. Full of communication down here, direct feedback. It's great to see.
Kerridge to Armfield. Advantage will be paid. And it is away goes right. Can he get goal number 3? Swinging back in towards Walker, who takes the mark. Andrew Walker kicked a goal early in the game. That was back in the first quarter. And there is Brendan Bolton.
Yeah, Sam Gilbert's done an extremely good job on Andrew Walker. Great match-up for Walker because he's very quick over the ground, and Gilbert's been able to match him with speed today.
He kicks the goal. He gets his second in game number 198.
Yeah, Brendan Bolton, as David King alluded to, down on the boundary line. So they've what have they won? 6 out of their last 7, Carlton, and today is just a little bit of a step backwards, but it probably just says a bit about their mindset. They've had a couple of 3 or 4 years in the wilderness. They've won 6 out of 7, which hasn't happened for 4 years, and probably mentally just weren't in tune with the contest today.
Still great footy to come on Fox Footy. We've got the Battle of the Bridge, and there we go from being serious to being quite silly with bounce coming away on Sunday night. Always something to look forward to. Right now, though, Gorringe has got to contend with Hickey.
Carlton ball, Carlton ruckman.
Square infringement.
Hang on, the other way.
The umpire is saying...
He's yelled out Carlton. St.Kilda.
Well, surely they're going to wait for all the Carlton players to get back now that have run forward.
You would think so.
Montagna takes it from Hickey and just goes bang with a bomb up towards Bruce.
Sam Rowe.
He's given away. Well, the free kick's gone against the Saints. Going to be taken by Sam Rowe for a push. So Rowe defends. This goes short to Byrne.
Just no flow in their game today. They've been static. They haven't had the run that we've seen in recent weeks. Haven't been able to link up. And St Kilda's pressure has been pretty much supreme.
Armfield, short, not 15, so Wright's got to play on. He goes backwards to Tui. Tui chips wide to Simpson, who marks just inside the line. Simpson on centre wing, switches play. Plowman, even wider to Thomas. Daisy's kick goes up towards right half forward, and Curnow chips in towards the pocket. Gorringe takes the mark.
Really good switch there from Carlton. They went from this wing out through the middle of the ground and out the other side.
Gorringe in his 4th game this season has 4 goals to his name.
We saw Brendan Bolton talking to Kate Simpson on the boundary line.
From 45 metres. Gorringe is missing to the near side. He's still one behind.
What do you make of that, Spud and Jace? What do you make of the coach coming down 50-point margin at the time he made his way downstairs to talk to his players? What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm not sure he's convinced that what he's been saying to them, they're actually trying to put into practice. And I think being down there and having that presence and showing them that, you know, it's not good enough if you're not doing exactly what they want all the time, because that's what's got them the 6 wins over the last 7 weeks. It's been discipline and structure, and they haven't had that today.
Possession 25 for Jack Stephen. Got it to Nunes. Out of play on the full.
You can see Brendan Bolton talking to Cade Simpson for about a minute there, and there's no doubt, Jace, that was probably what the instructions were. What is actually going out on the ground compared to what we're talking about? And I think that's good coaching. When things aren't working, you just want to know what the reason why we're not adhering to team structures.
Plowman, Thomas, Byrne, Curnow, Thomas, White, Gorringe, Curnow, Byrne. All that to go back. White. Tui, who could take off. Down the spine to Doherty. Floats it up. Cruises forward. Walkers forward. Thumped away by Delaney. Had a good game back. Robertson wide. And Membry, who started all of this. 5 goals to his name to set it up again.
Indeed he does, to Webster. He may get caught, just gets his kick away in time. Now Gresham's alone, inside 50. The little man is away. Now he's balking, now he steadies, he shoots, and he kicks the goal!
Yeah, I thought he bit off too much so he could bite then, but the thing about Gresham, Sandy, is he just never makes a blue with his decisions, and he probably thought, I put myself under pressure here by playing on, but you can see here he didn't panic. He didn't panic. He had one option, just to kick the ball along the ground. He did that truly, and yeah, he's a player to look out for, St Kilda. I know the St Kilda player supporters will love watching this guy for the next 10 to 12 years because he's a very smart footballer. Very rarely does he make a bad decision when he gets the ball in hand.
Your thoughts on the kick, Jason?
It went through, Kingy. That's all you've got to do. I've got no problem with any kick that goes through. It was interesting because he was going to step back inside, and the problem was there were no other options, so he virtually had to take on the shot.
I like the 8 seconds of silence you gave us before you gave the answer. That spoke louder.
Good.
No genuine effort, as you heard. Bruce jumps. He was jumped into. Pearce at the back. Plowman. Simpson. Thomas. Rowe over the top. 19 minutes gone. 7.5 left. Could be a big kickstarter to the Saints season, this. Heading into the bye. Now the confidence back. Thomas. Byrne. Again, they go back to go forward. Doherty. Wide to Kernogy, sent him a task.
Well, just inside the line.
Saints fans are roaring.
They remember Jack Stephen there.
And they're out in force today, the Saints fans. Their home game, and there's plenty of them here. Montagna floats in. Crutch. Free kick. Montagna's ball. We were told there's about 6,000 to 7,000 here still trying to get in when the siren sounded to start the game. Bruce slips in. Can't mark it. It is a surprisingly large crowd, but maybe kids in free, good conditions, and why wouldn't you come to see a Saints team that plays like this?
Pearce again with Cruiser. Nunes third man up. Armitage well smothered by Bryce Gibbs and taken over the line. Saints looking forward to the bye. Then they've got Geelong, then the Suns, and third up after the bye, Essendon. We've spoken of Carlton's hard run after the bye. 6 tough games. All sides in the 8. Here's Minchington. Breaks one tackle and gives it off to Nunes, who flicks it round the body, goes in towards the pocket. Bruce is the target. Taken over the line. Good pressure there by Lockie Plowman.
Yeah, good body position. Lockie Plowman trying to establish himself after coming down from GWS, getting some opportunities with the Blues. Not quite your typical key defender size, but he's asked to play in that position a number of times.
Armfield pushes it out and then takes it back again. And it ricochets off the shin of Dunstan and goes over the line, but not on the full.
Wasn't his best option there, Dennis. The option wasn't there, or the execution from Armfield on that occasion. Have a look at Steve. We know he's been dominant with the ball, but without the ball as well, as the leading tackle player on the ground with 8.
Remember, he had the opportunity, couldn't quite pick it up. Stephen locks it up, and he also locks up Sam Kerridge. Pearce again wins it, but pushed it down towards Cripps, who eludes a couple. Does well, then gets the hand pass out to Gibbs. He's beautifully tackled by Montagna, causing him to drop the ball. Minchington, I'm sorry. Minchington.
Yeah, really good tackling there. He just tackled the hips. Didn't worry about the ball. Gibbs put the ball out in front, but Minchington said, I'll have none of that. I'll just focus on your hips, which is the last thing to move when you try and evade. And it was just nailed him. The perfect tackle, and got one of the arms.
And what cost Bryce Gibbs was the little fumble when he first got the ball.
Playing in his 6th game for the season. He's kicked a couple of goals, Minchington. Starts that one left. Bruce had to contend with a couple. And the ball eventually goes over the line and out.
That's the little set-up kick where you kick it to about 5 metres in front of your key forward, who has a run and jump, even if there's a defender in the way.
Just on 5 minutes remaining. Cruiser obtains front spot. Hickey pushed him out. Now Simpson attempting to clear. He gets it across to Armfield for the Blues.
Little 1-2 back to Simpson. Again, nothing to go to. Had to play with it himself for a while and wait. Doherty. Here's the run they're after. Thomas got it from Armfield. He goes backwards though to go forward again. White. Thumps it wide. Right, his target. Got plenty of it, enough of it. Can't play on from a mark, so it must have been a free.
Yeah, called it arm chop.
Kerridge sits it up. Casbolt, 3 to beat around him. Can't beat them all, and Gilbert content to be bumped out of play with it.
You know, Dempster, no Fisher, Robertson and Gilbert have Fills the void beautifully there today. Robert in there just cramping a little bit. Taking the 4 intercept marks. Gilbert 2 and plenty of spoils. So you've stood up today, the young defence.
45 points to margin. Cripps takes it out of the ruck, so that's a free. Have to dispose of it legally.
St.Kilda.
Could still be the Saints' biggest win of the year, coming off one of their biggest losses. 4 minutes left to a massive roar here at Etihad, and not one Saints fan has moved. They're sticking around to enjoy this. Crunch down to Akers. And triple team there, Walker, going nowhere.
There's the margin at the moment, 45 points. The best winning margin, as we said, was 46 against the Bombers, as Walker puts Carlton inside 50 once again. Gilbert gets a high ball, takes it towards the line, and eventually over. 47,945 is the official attendance here today. That is outstanding news for 10th up against 13th, and a long weekend to draw those numbers. Very, very encouraging for St Kilda football and for Carlton football. Gorringe taken out of it. Third man up was Wiedering. And into the open goal was Casbolt. That was a little easy for the big man. He gets his third. He kicked one in the first, one in the second, and now that one cuts the margin once again to 39 points.
It was a good hit forward from Gorringe at the stoppage. He got the free hit, found Cripps, who continues to battle hard, even though it hasn't really been his day. He has had the 10 clearances, gets the hand pass out, and Casbolt has kicked 3 goals. He hasn't had much of it, just the 8 possessions.
You just
he
see
can have
Delaney.
a bad day and kick 3, that's okay.
You just see Delaney there. He didn't impact the contest, and then he came forward. As we have a look at Carlton's next 4 games after the bye, we've got GWS, Collingwood, Adelaide. So 3 pretty tough games. Regardless of where they are on the ladder, Collingwood and Carlton are always tough matches.
Play on.
We knew Carlton was on the improve under Brendan Bolton. This is great news for Richo and his boys. The Saints shown some improvement under Alan Richardson. Showed a lot more today. Memory's been a key. Bruce hasn't had a big day yet. Tries to get up and still out to his day. Gave it off. Minchington caught, stripped. White. Tui waits. Gibbs. Ugly. Simpson. Made it look okay. Right. Feeds it back to Thomas. Thumps it up. Geary. Walker. Walker with the big fist. Sees it to the boundary. And we'll get a ball in. Here's the Saints next month again, as Sandy mentioned to you. Geelong, Gold Coast, Essendon after the bye. 14th in 2015. 6-win season last year. The Saints. Alan Richardson has the curve going the right way. And the good mark taken in the middle by Minchington. Back in this week. And he's had a good afternoon.
He has, yep. And here goes Montagna again, taking it from Savage. Joey's kicking towards half-forward. His target was Akers. It's fisted away from him. Simpson pushes it in towards the middle. They've got runners going through. One of them is Tui. He takes it now, flicks it inside 50, and the mark taken by Wiedering.
Doesn't want to have the shot. He's looking to give it off.
Kerridge.
And that's going to put him further out.
Yeah.
No, he's not going to mark it.
So he's still looking for his first goal. Now an opportunity for Wright. Just pokes it to the top of the square, and there's going to be a free kick. It's going to go Carlton's way. It's holding.
Yeah, it's against Gilbert, Sandy.
He didn't need to do that. They had the numbers.
So Walker will be the recipient. Has already kicked 1 in this term, got 1 in the first as well.
Yeah, you can just see there the flailing arm and turn Walker there, as you said, Jace. No need for it because Geary was in front, so they had him wedged.
3 goals to Walker. But time certainly well and truly has flown as far as the Blues are concerned. 12-5 plays 17-8. Yeah, we just see the free kick again to Walker there against Sam Gilbert.
Well, they've won the last quarter. Carlton, 4 goals, 2. But you just say that these goals are probably coming, the juice is right out of the game. And I don't think Brendan Bolton will get seduced by the fact that they've outscored St Kilda in the last quarter. I think he'd be more worried about the intent in the first 3 quarters, where it wasn't there when they've been on a roll, winning 6 out of the last 7. So human nature, a young team, you get on top and you keep winning. You've just got to keep providing a strong contest, and Brendan Bolton, I know that he'll have a look at this game.
Cripps tried to duck out of that tackle.
Sorry, Dwayne, he won't sweep it under the carpet.
The margin was 47 points. It's now 33 points as we close in on the final siren. The Saints fans getting something to cheer about. Ross feeds it wide. Savage lost it. Gibbs gets it. To make this scoreboard look a little more attractive, Sumner has got Everett out wide. Pokes it to him. He enjoyed the kick at goal on the run more than his set shot earlier. But he kicks a divot in the 50 and heads back with less than a minute left. To make the numbers look a little more attractive, it'll be less than a 30-point win, maybe 27 points if he puts this through. Won't look so bad for the Blues. Struck it pretty well. Post. So 32 points, the margin, with 23 seconds left.
There were 6 goals, 5 from set shots. The Blues, St Kilda, alternative, they've kicked 9 goals, 2 from the 11 set shots.
Saints haven't beaten the Blues by 30 points or more since 2008. So they're on the verge of doing that. Armitage called to go because it wasn't the required distance. Ross has had a good day. Geary from the half-back line. Towards Bruce and Membry.
Well done, Membry.
Membry lets him go. Does the shepherding work. Jackie Nunes is away. Pokes an ugly-looking punt kick in towards the 50. And Akers won't get a crack at goal. But it matters not, because St Kilda have recorded a very impressive win. Getting home by 32 points in the end here at Etihad in front of over 47,000 fans, and they're all very, very happy.
Yeah, great atmosphere here today. Really good contest from both young teams. I think both supporters, Carlton supporters, obviously have had a great 2 months, winning 6 out of the last 7. St Kilda bounced back after a very ordinary defeat last week against the Adelaide Football Club, and it started in the middle with Tom Hickey down there with David King.
Yeah, he is wanting to get the big man, because it's been a fantastic performance by you today. You must be thrilled with your form.
Yeah, really disappointed last week and against West Coast, and we really want to make amends for it. We had a really long week about meetings, about what we wanted to stand for, and we just wrapped that the boys could bounce back.
What about today? Your own work in the middle there was fantastic to see that third quarter. You really broke it free, didn't you?
Yeah, it was pleasing to sort of finally get some reward for hard work. I feel like I've been working hard the last few weeks and not quite getting it done, so to get a little bit of reward for effort's been stoked.
What about your own game? You've played 50-odd games now. You must feel like you're really belonging in the AFL system, and you're starting to see the fruits of your labours. Yeah, I actually got to present a jersey today to Big Louis, so finally feel like I'm part of the team, which is good. But stoked to sort of be able to get some continuity in my game. This is the most I've ever played in a year, so hopefully I can get a few more. It was all right kicking that ball across the face of goal there to him, mate, and he got his first goal in his first game. Yeah, just trying to help a young fella out. Good on you, mate. Well done. Go and enjoy. Thanks. Cheers.
Yeah, fantastic game, Tom Hickey. He had 32 hit-outs to Cruz's 18, but more importantly, had 13 hit-outs to advantage Tom Hickey to Cruz's 6, so really dominant in the midfield, one.
Did he say, I finally feel part of the team? This is his 4th season at the Saints.
Yeah, he's been up and down, Dwayne. He's been really consistent. He's had a lot of injury, and this is his biggest sustained run of games this year as we head down to probably the match winner for St Kilda, Jack Steve with David King.
He's had a fantastic year. I feel like I talk to you every week these days, but you must be pleased again to put it on the board again today yourself.
Yeah, well, it was a good team effort. We were obviously pretty disappointed last week, so it was good to bounce back, but now we've just got to work on a bit of consistency.
You're kicking some goals now, you're getting plenty of ball forward to centre.
Yeah, I like kicking goals, so try and sneak forward every now and again.
What was the week like? It was a pretty tough week, a pretty ordinary performance last week. To bounce back obviously is really pleasing, but what was the week like?
Yeah, early on pretty depressing. We had a few honest meetings, but they're always good to have. But from pretty much Tuesday onward, we moved forward, looked at Carlton and just tried to get a bit positive around the group again and get the boys up and about for today, so it was pretty good.
A few of your leaders out, a few of the stars of St Kilda over the last decade or so out today. You have to assume a leadership role?
Yeah, definitely. We had a younger team in today, but it's good that all the younger boys stepped up. They were really impressive today, and once they get a few more games in them, they'll be able to do it every week. So it's pretty exciting, I think.
I'll keep the campaign going for you, mate, for all Australian. Well done. Go and enjoy it.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, well, I think there's not much worry about that. He's playing so well at the moment, and he's just got to continue that form. It's fantastic. Just repeating, it is St Kilda victorious by 32 points here at Etihad Stadium. Still lots to come. We'll head up to Spotless Stadium for the Battle of the Bridge, and that is going to be an absolute belter. And following that, of course, the boys from Bounce will be in the studio for a fun Sunday night. But here at Etihad, the Saints victorious by 32 points.